tabs. Championship leader Woofenden arrived with a 25-point advantage over Greg Hancock, the current world champion, who recently has put up a late fight in the defence of his title. The American started under the roof of the Friends Arena with 2 straight wins, whilst Woofenden struggled on his opening heat with a crash on a track that he was always struggling with. Sweden had plenty to cheer though, with Andreas Jonsson reaching the semi-finals as he fought for a GP lifeline for next year. Fellow countrymen Thomas H. Jonassen and Antonio Lindbach, despite moments of brilliance, failed to make an impact on the night. Poland's Mats Janowski and Denmark's Niels Christian Iversen joined Hancock and Woofenden in the final. Woofenden in red made a textbook start off the line and into the first corner, leaving his fellow competitors to fight for the remaining podium places. A dominant victory and a timely one for the Englishman as he races towards his 2nd World Championship title.
Yeah, Stockholm and the GP before, you know, Pete came up to me and he said, you know, we hit them hard in the next 2 rounds and their heads will drop, and you could see from interviews from other riders that that's exactly what happened, and you know, Greg still battles on, that's what he does, and you know, it'd be nice to wrap it up this weekend, but we'll see.
Both Woofenden and Hancock shared 16 points apiece on the night, which means that the Brit still holds a 25-point advantage over the American after round 10. Significantly, Niels Christian Iversen has now moved to 4th in the standings and is just 10 points behind fellow countryman Nicky Pedersen.
When the kid's on form, I know I got a heck of a battle ahead of me, and I need him to drop a lot of points, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
The championship now travels south to Torun in Poland for the penultimate round of the series. The purpose-built Speedway arena has seen some dramatic finals over the years, as well as the crowning of past champions, one of which is 2012 world champion Chris Holder. The Australian rides here for his Polish club and currently sits 8th in the standings. The popular Aussie will need all his local track knowledge to try and find some form, strengthen his position in the championship before heading to Melbourne for the final round of the year.
If I could win here would be awesome, or just get in the final, but yeah, we'd like to go to Melbourne in a better position than battling for 8th spot, but it's the way it is at the moment, but you know, I'm working on it.
Hi there, good evening and a very warm welcome to the Motor Arena in Torun, the Marianne Rose Motor Arena, for the penultimate round of the World Speedway Championship this year. It's the Torun FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland, this magnificent purpose-built speedway venue. It is the night where we could be crowning a new World Speedway champion. Ty Woofenden can wrap it up tonight. He has a 25-point lead in the World Championship. Kelvin Tatum is alongside me. Kelvin, a huge night. Could this be the night when Woofenden does it?
Very possibly, Nigel. He has been in outstanding form in the last 3 Grand Prix, where he really has turned it on in style. He's answered every question that the opposition have thrown at him, and I'm sure he won his first world title here, clinched it, of course, here in 2013, and of course he's going to Australia in 3 weeks' time, but I'm sure with the opportunity, if the opportunity presents itself, I'm sure he'll be delighted to do it tonight.
Yeah, Woofenden needs 18 points to be crowned world champion, regardless of what Greg Hancock does, his nearest challenger. And that is the way it is statistically. It doesn't matter what Hancock does. If Woofenden gets 18 points over the next 2 rounds here in Torun in 3 weeks' time in Melbourne, then it's job done for him, but he would like to get the job done tonight, I'm sure. We're up to the first race of the night. Great atmosphere as always here in the Marianne Rose Motor Arena here in Torun. They staged league racing here. It is one of the most popular sports in the Polish nation, Speedway. It really is a huge sport. And the Polish Extraliga, run by Leszno this year. Congratulations to them. Ahead of Wrocław in the final. Wrocław, who included Ty Woofenden and Mats Janowski. And he is in heat number 1 here. First race of the night then. We're about to get underway as the riders come around to the start line. Heat number 1 of the Torun FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland is coming up. Here we go with the opening race of the night. Mats Janowski goes off the inside in red. Gate number 2 in blue, Peter Killerman from Denmark. Chris Harris goes off gate 3 in white. Michael Jensen going off the outside. Jensen in 9th place, 10 adrift of Chris Holder in the race for the top 8. Killerman has 2 rounds to sensationally make a challenge for a top 8 spot. Now, I'm sure sure you've noticed that a lot of the boys are looking very similar tonight. Most of them, all of them, looking very similar because they are wearing replica race suits of the suit that was worn by Darcy Ward this year. Darcy seriously hurt, of course, in a track crash in Poland about 5 weeks or so ago now, and all the boys are going to use these Kevlars for fundraising ideas to help with Darcy's rehabilitation. So great gesture from all the boys. Big show tonight. Kelvin Tatum, looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Torren is a special Speedway arena, and I'm sure we're going to be in for a real treat this evening. Heat number 1. Here we go then.
Takes rides. First time of asking we're away, and Jensen away from the outside line. Makes a lovely start from gate number 4. It's a long way from gate 4, and he's made a superstar. Peter Killerman is second, so it's a Danish 1-2 right now with Chris Harris in third place, and Matt Sayanovsky is trailing in the back, but Jensen knows it's a big night for him. Time is running out for a top 8 challenge, and he is riding quite beautifully, but we know that Peter Killerman will wind it on for all 4 laps.
We will indeed. Super stuff from Jensen. Flew away from the outside. He's been disappointing in the last couple of Grand Prix, and he slipped out of that top 8. Kilderman has ridden strongly all season. He's looking strong in second place. Janowski is a little surprise here. Harris is in third. Janowski, with a lap to go, is coming on strong, but Jensen, he needs wins. He's going to start with 1 here.
Yep, very classy rider, 72 Grand Prix points to his name. Michael Jensen. Wonderful start from gate number 4. The Dane punches the air with delight. Great effort from Michael Jensen from gate number 4. Super ride. He has a Grand Prix victory under his name, of course, in his career. And that is a great start from him. And
Super.
Peter Killerman had a lot of speed. Track looks lovely and smooth. And plenty of good racing in prospect tonight, I'm sure. First race of the night then. Jensen, the race winner. Peter Killerman was second. Chris Harris of Great Britain was third. And Matt Sayanovsky trailed in at the back. That's a big ride for Jensen because the battle for the top 8 is not all over yet.
No, it's not. And there's no question that they're pumped with that. Chris Holder is in 8th place at this moment, and he was 10 points ahead prior to this race, 7 now. Good stuff there from Jensen. Rides a very smart first corner, and he powers down that back straight, hits the front and stays there. Kilderman slips into second place. Janowski's the loser here, gets trapped on the inside there, has nowhere to go, and that allows Chris Harris to come around the outside, and he slips into third place. But Jensen has been disappointing in previous Grand Prix. He needs a huge display tonight. He starts in the ideal manner. Big 3 points, quite clearly, very pleased with it.
Yep, very much so. He looks well and truly up for it. It was a super ride, to be fair, from the outside gate.
Yeah, he had speed as well, Nige, because this place, having ridden it yesterday, there's so much room. You can, if you don't have enough speed, then somebody will hunt you down and pass you. There's no doubting that.
Ty Woffenden is here in heat number 2, the British rider. 143 Grand Prix points. Greg Hancock is nearest rival on 118. His pit crew just making 1 or 2 alterations here, a spare bike just in case. And he is in this race off gate number 2. The 2012 world champion, Chris Holder, this man in white, is alongside him.
Yeah.
He rides this Torren track throughout the year because he rides for Torren in the Polish Extra League, Chris Holder. So he feels at home tonight for sure. And here we have the lineup for the second race of the night for you. Going off the inside is Thomas H. Jonasson in red. Gate 2, Ty Woffenden needs 18 points to be world champion. Chris Holder, gate 3 in white. And off the outside is Piotr Pawlicki. Now, he was named as reserve. He's in tonight for Pavel Szapelski, who has a hand injury. You have to feel for Szapelski.
Yes.
Misses out. Late call not to ride. Piotr Pawlicki is actually a Grand Prix rider next year.
Yeah, he qualified through the challenge. It is a desperate blow for Szapelski. He has actually outscored all the other Torren riders in the home meetings this year, so he will be desperately disappointed.
Here we go, heat number 2. Woffenden's made a good start from gate number 2, but watch out for Pawlicki from the outside gate. The boy is quick. Goodness me, from gate number 4. That has worked an absolute treat. Here comes Woffenden up the inside. Watch out for the man in white, Chris Holder, having a go as well. Woffenden is chasing the wheel of Pawlicki. Holder tries the inside line. The man at the back is Jonasson. They're all bunched up. It's all very tight. These two up the front were teammates at Wolverhampton last year in Britain. It's Piotr Pawlicki, and now Woffenden is trying the high line to come around the outside, but Pawlicki holds the lead.
He does indeed, but Woffenden is beginning to gain a lot of momentum, a lot of speed. Pawlicki once again the outside gate, works a treat, and he was able to power to the front. Holder now beginning to work the outside line. Holder comes round the outside of Woffenden. What a ride from Holder, just what he needed. Pawlicki should hang on, but keep your eyes on Chris Holder. He's charging hard.
Chris Holder's got lots of speed here, no doubt about that. He's going to try the outside run down to the line.
Done him. What a ride.
Great Speedway, heat number 2.
Fabulous ride from Chris Holder. Just believe he stole that win away from Pavlicki coming off the last corner. The youngster riding a conservative line round the inside. And you've got to believe that he just doesn't do the business there. Holder rides strongly to get the win. Superb effort there from the 2012 world champion.
Yeah, that was more than home track knowledge. That was just a brilliant ride, full stop. Woofenden gets a point to his name. Jonasson at the back, but what a race that was. Chris Holder, brilliant ride indeed. He went from 3rd to 1st in great style. Well done, Chris Holder of Australia.
Yeah, this is where the damage was done. He was able to get round the outside of Pavlicki, who rides too conservatively there. If he'd ridden in the middle of the track, he probably would have hung on to the win. But Holder just coming steaming round the outside in the last corner. He was 3rd for a long period of time. Really was flying hard. And Chris Holder, that's exactly what he needed. And all credit to him, that was a strong ride.
Yeah, Chris Holder, who we saw him this morning. We were at a function this morning with Chris Holder, Kelvin, and he looked nicely relaxed and happy and really up for tonight's meeting because, of course, it is his home track. So, you know, he looked in a good place this morning, ready to race.
Absolutely, and I'm pleased to say it because he only scored 4 points in Stockholm last weekend, and he slipped down to 8th in the championship. Top 8 automatically qualify for next year's series, of course. So this is his home track. He is really pleased to have won their opening race, of course, but an opportunity to put in a whole pile of points to secure his Grand Prix future.
So here we go with the 3rd race of the night then, and it's quite a lineup here with Nicky Pedersen off the outside gate, still having serious hopes of hunting down Hancock for the silver medal tonight. He goes off the outside gate. This man in blue, Jason Doyle, has done a good job this year in his debut Grand Prix campaign, 6th place in the standings going into tonight's meeting. Here's the lineup then. Andreas Jonsson going off the inside in red. Had a good night in Stockholm a week ago. Jason Doyle of Australia, gate 2 in blue. Christoph Kasperzak, winner here last year in Torren, goes off gate 3 in white. And Nicky Pedersen going off the outside in yellow.
Yeah, Pedersen's just run out of steam in the last few Grand Prix. He was really pushing on hard at the midway point, having won a couple of Grand Prix and putting pressure on Woofenden, but unfortunately he just seems to have lacked that edge that he had earlier on. Jonsson also fighting for his life. He needs a massive display. I sense he needs a win to try and convince the organisers to put him back in next year's series as a permanent wild card. Doyle rides here, of course. He'll be looking for a big night. Kasperzak, well, it just hasn't been his year.
Here we go, heat number 3. It's a good point you make about AJ as well. Needs a massive night tonight. The organisers have to make 4 picks for next year. Doyle's made a great start, but look at this from the cut up the inside from Nicky Pedersen. But Jason Doyle holds the line in the blue helmet colour. Nicky Pedersen is 2nd place. Now he's going to charge up the inside. Doyle's got plenty of speed. 3rd is Kasperzak though. And Andreas Jonsson now is at the back going into the 2nd lap, tries the inside run. But Jason Doyle is riding nicely here as Jonsson comes through into 3rd to get the better of Kasperzak.
Yeah, super stuff from Jason Doyle out in front. What a start from gate 2 that was. Brilliant stuff from him. He got the bike set up perfectly. Pedersen was dropping back through the traffic in the 1st corner, secures that 2nd place. Jonsson's had to work hard to get the better of Kasperzak, but once again a home rider here, starting in fine form, looking like he'll pick up 3 points.
Yep, Jason Doyle, the man in the blue helmet colour, has had a fine season. His debut campaign in the Grand Prix, of course. 6th place tonight, 85 points. He's going to move on to 88 now. Super ride from Jason Doyle, under pressure from Nicky Pedersen early on there, with Andreas Jonsson coming through into 3rd place. But a fine 3 points from Jason Doyle strengthens his claims for the top 8. It'd be nice for him if he could just really sew that up tonight and know that he's under no pressure going into Melbourne in 3 weeks' time in the final round of the series in Australia. Jason Doyle the winner with Nicky Pedersen in 2nd place there. 3rd was Andreas Jonsson, who came through to get the better of Christoph Kasperzak, and a fine result for Jason Doyle.
Indeed it was, and he made a brilliant start away from the 2nd gate, the blue gate, and he really did all the business. Look at the way that bike powers to the 1st corner. That is absolutely brilliant, and they must have had it absolutely spot on. Home track advantage possibly playing its part. Pedersen is attacking right from the word go. He comes sweeping across from the outside, switches into that inside, and very nearly gets to the front. But Doyle is great. You know, he should have made a couple of finals. He's made a little bit of a mistake here and there, but generally he's had a strong campaign, and it's looking like he's going to be a Grand Prix rider in 2016.
Well, he fully deserves that, of course. Fine performance from Jason Doyle. Heat number 4 is coming up then. Here we have Greg Hancock in the red helmet colour. What can he do here as he looks to just hang on to lingering hopes of just pushing Ty Woffinden to the limit in the battle for the world title. Woffinden on 144 now, 26 ahead of Greg Hancock, but Hancock has this race in hand. Heat number 4 is coming up, and this is a fine lineup with Iversen alongside him. Bachelor off 3 as well. And Matti Zegar, quick word from Matti, because he's acknowledging his admiration for Lee Adams as well. Lee, who watches the Grand Prix back home in Australia, and he's got the legs of Matti Zegar's race suit are replicas of Lee Adams' race suit as well, which is great. Hancock, Iversen, Bachelor, Zegar. Terrific stuff from these boys, and they are Lee Adams' replica legs on the old Kevlars, which is brilliant to see. And Lee Adams, a legend of the Grand Prix.
Indeed he is, and I did notice that on the parade, and that's a great mark of respect from Matti Zegar, and he'll be hoping for a big display. He's been in the wars and hasn't quite had the form that took him to the victory in Gorjov, of course, but subsequently that internal bleeding he suffered on that night has restricted his efforts. Hancock on the inside. Well, Woofenden's dropped 2 points. This is an opportunity for Hancock to steal a bit of a march back.
Yep, heat number 4. Hancock has made a great start. Iversen will go wide. Charging up the inside is Bachelor. But Hancock now writes a perfect line. Takes Iversen wide. There's no room there. Charging hard here is Matti Zegar up the inside. But Greg Hancock is riding a beautiful line here. Iversen still on the pace, though, as is Matti Zegar in 3rd. But Greg Hancock makes it look easy at times, doesn't he? And he goes high into that banking, Kelvin, where you get maximum drive coming off that turn.
Yeah, and it was a brilliant first corner from the world champion there, because the inside gate hasn't been working in the first 3 races, but he was superb there to hold off the advances of Niels Christian Iversen in 2nd place. And once again, last 3 Grand Prix with Hancock, we've seen him on really, really top form and plenty of speed, and so it's proving again tonight. He is flying in front.
Yep, Greg Hancock, the old master, down the back straight, riding quite beautifully here. Into the latter stages of heat number 4. It's Greg Hancock taking the checkered flag. 2nd place in blue, Niels Christian Iversen. That was a great ride from Greg Hancock to see off Niels Christian Iversen. Brilliant stuff from him. Zegar in 3rd and Troy Bachelor at the back. But Hancock was under pressure early on, managed to see off his rivals, had to do some hard work early on, but got the result. Hancock, Iversen, Zegar and Bachelor. The lead in the World Championship is down to 23 now for Ty Woffinden. And the winners early on, Hancock, Holder, Doyle and Jepsen Jensen.
Yeah, into the first corner there with Greg Hancock, and as I say, the inside gate is proving quite a challenge in the first 3 races, but the world champion makes light of it, and he's able to get himself to the front. Iversen there alongside him. I thought for a moment he might be able to find a way around the outside, but it's a very clever first corner from Hancock. He had all the bases covered there. Zegar pushing hard initially onto Iversen, but can't make the pass. But there's no question out in front, the world champion has won his opening ride, seen Woffinden drop a couple of points, so the ideal start for Hancock.
Yeah, brilliant from Greg Hancock there in heat number 4. Super ride from him as we build up now to heat number 5, which will be after the grading break. But Hancock still battling away. World champion last year, of course, and 3 times world champion, a true legend of the Grand Prix series. We'll get some reaction from down in the pits very shortly. Ahead of
Good ride though, that wasn't it?
Oh,
it was terrific stuff from Hancock. It's exactly what he needed to do with when you saw Woffinden dropping a couple of points.
Let's hear now from Chris Louis down in the pits.
Chris Holder, a track you know very well, but exciting stuff. Third place, straight to the checker flag.
Yeah, I had a lot of speed in that race, which was nice, and kind of just didn't really make the best of starts. Gate through was a bit wet, so I just tried to get in a good position, and you know, Woofy and the other guy were sort of having a bit of a battle, and I was just trying to line them up a bit, and I managed to get them both. So yeah, pretty pumped with that.
Important to get 3 points and a good start tonight. 10 points to gap. You want to take the pressure off before going to the homeland, Melbourne?
Yeah, I'm fighting for survival too. You know, at the bottom, not at the top, but just want to be back in that top 8 and. Good first race, but there's, you know, a long way to go yet. But if I can keep doing that, I'll be happy.
Great start. Thanks, Chris.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, great start from Chris Holder. And it's no question that he is fighting for his life. He can ill afford to drop outside the top 8. And he'll be disappointed. The pride of the man, of course, will want that. He's in front of a home audience. He rides here, of course. And that was a terrific ride from him. You know, he was able to carve through the traffic. They got the better of Woofenden, who's been so fast in previous Grand Prix. And a great start from him. Brilliant ride from Hancock. I can't tell you how impressive that was, because you can get trapped on the inside there. You have to turn a little bit harder. And with the banking coming from the outside, you actually can generate more speed coming off that first corner. And he was able to cover all the bases. It was a very wily, experienced ride from Hancock.
Very much so, and he's still battling away. I'm sure he'll try and give Ty Woofenden just something to think about tonight, although Woofenden in the week has said that he's only interested in his own form. He's
well, yeah, he can't afford to worry about anybody else, because it'll only drain him of energy. You can't control what they do, so that's exactly the right attitude.
Let's hear from Greg now with Chris Louis.
Greg, important to get off to a good start tonight. 3 big points.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's always better to start off with something good rather than play catch-up, as we always say. But decent start, good first corner, and after a couple of laps, I really started to settle in more.
Ty Woofenden said he's determined to get the championship won tonight, but you're not going to give him a hand with that, are you?
Oh, no, I mean, the kid's on fire, and he's got the ball in his court, you know, so it's he's in a good position, but, you know, I'll keep the pressure on.
You look comfortable out front. You've had a long chat with your engine tuner. Any changes before the next ride?
No, not at the moment. Everything feels pretty good. You know, we just got to watch the track now, see how much it changes, and see if we need to make any adjustments.
Good start. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, terrific ride. And as I say, he was that first corner. He actually referred to it with Chris there. It was a very clever first corner, because he could easily have been swamped there by Zagar and Niels Christian Evensen. So, yeah, classy ride from Hancock. And the ideal response, because Woofenden dropping 2 points, all he can do is win races and trying to just apply any sort of pressure he possibly can. But Woofenden is in the driving seat. There is no question about that.
23-point lead at the end of the day, and one less ride to worry about. So
yes.
No dramas there. But Heat 7, Doyle, Hancock, Woofenden, Harris. Hancock and Woofenden alongside each other on the starting grid, and Jason Doyle is now with Chris Louis.
Jason, a great start to your night, an absolutely fantastic getaway from the start.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier when you make a good start. So, but yeah, it's still early doors, but yeah, bank the points and make it easier for me in Melbourne.
It really was a good start. I mean, is that you, or have you just found the perfect setup, or man and machine working together?
Too early to tell. At the moment, it's working okay, but things can change, track can change. We just keep on top of it, and hopefully it works out.
Good luck with the rest of the night. Thanks.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Yeah, he's done well, Jason Doyle. He's a late developer, isn't he, really, Kelvin?
Yeah,
that's a good way to sum it up.
Yeah, absolutely. He has had all sorts of injury problems, particularly with his shoulders. He's had surgery on both shoulders, and I think that's held him back for 2 or 3 years in his mid-20s. He's 29 now, and there's no question that he is coming of age, and looks like he's got a bright future now, because he's settled in nicely. I think this year has been a big learning experience for him, because he could easily have made 2 finals, but has just slipped up, but made a couple of mistakes in semi-finals when he could easily have made it through to the final. But he started very strongly here tonight.
Kasper Zak, winner here last year, seems an awful long time ago now.
It does indeed, and he finished the season with a real rattle last year. He was in fine form, and he came through to be world number 2, and this year it just hasn't happened for him, and he will slip out of the GP and will have to re-qualify for the 2017 series. He's got a couple of rounds to go. Hopefully he can win a few races and just get some confidence back.
So heat number 5 is coming up here. of the Torun FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland. Riders are up to the start line, and we're about ready for action here. Can Maciejowski bounce back? And Jonasson and Kasperzak all with zeros in their opening ride. Here we go with heat number 5. It's Matti Zagar off the inside gate in red, with Maciejowski going off gate 2. Gate 3 is Thomas H. Jonasson and Krzysztof Kasperzak going off the outside in yellow. 3 riders who failed to score in their opening race here. So a real opportunity to get some points in the bag. A reminder, you need around 8 points to be in contention for the semi-finals. It's very, very rare that you get in on 7. 9 is pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely. And Janowski started poorly in his opening ride, made the final, of course, last weekend in Stockholm, and he was had the inside gate and got trapped on the inside, and he will want to do a lot better than that this time. Zagar got just 1 point, although he showed some decent speed, but again, he'll want to get back to winning ways. Jonasson and Kasperzak from the outside will be once again also looking for points, but Janowski in front of a home audience will want to be riding a lot better than he did in his first one.
Heat 5, here we go. Janowski's made a much better start from gate number 2 this time. Hits the front early on, good start from him. Coming around the outside in white beautifully is Thomas H. Jonasson. 3rd place in red is Matti Zagar, and the man at the back once again is Krzysztof Kasperzak, but Maciejowski, a league winner in the UK with the Pool Pirates in midweek, has the lead and looking good here as the man in white, Thomas H. Jonasson, tries to hunt him down, but Janowski must have made a change to his setup. He's looking a lot quicker now.
Yeah, he made a brilliant start, Nigel. He dropped the clutch absolutely spot on, and he got himself to the first corner. Thomas H. Jonasson, no question, he's made a few adjustments because he's got a lot of speed in 2nd place and is beginning to apply a lot of pressure. Certainly he's looking quite dangerous there. Zagar now in 3rd place. Is a bit of a tussle there. He switches to the inside. Janowski's got pressure here, Nigel. Should just about have enough, but there's no question the Swede has ridden strongly here.
Yep, here comes Zagar around the outside of Jonasson as well, down to the line, but Jonasson has done enough for 2nd. It's a fine ride from Maciejowski, and the Polish fans are delighted with that. Really is a hugely popular rider, Maciejowski in the blue helmet colour, and looking set fair as well. Janowski to book his place in next year's series. The top 8 is what it's all about. Of course, the top 3, well, the championship itself, the top 3 and the top 8 are the 3 issues to be decided over the course of the next 2 Grand Prix. And that's a fine win for Maciejowski, who gets his first 3 points on the board.
Yeah,
and looks a lot better there.
He did, and he did all the hard work when he dropped the clutch, because he really did make a terrific reaction, and the bike drove to the first corner, probably looking for a touch more speed, because at times Thomas H. Jonasson was very threatening in 2nd place, but there you can clearly see how well he got away from the tapes, reminiscent of what Jason Doyle did a little bit earlier. Gate 2 working nicely for those 2 boys. Tapes up again, drops the clutch, then just rides the clutch a little bit. The bike really digging in and driving hard to the first corner. Good effort from him. Zagar back in 3rd place, not quite at his best so far. Kasperzak once again is struggling for form. Thomas H. Jonasson riding strongly for 2nd place, but that's what the Polish rider needs. After a disappointing opening ride, he's turned it around and comes up with a really good win, and that will settle him down in the pits.
Yeah, nice ride from Maciejowski as we move towards heat number 6 here now. And we see Chris Holder going from the outside gate, who pulled off that fine victory early on tonight. That was a super win for Chris Holder.
That's a good race
I've seen. 2, yeah.
That's a good performance I've seen all year from Chris. At times he seems to have been a little bit tentative, maybe a touch nervous, but there he said in his interview he had a lot of speed and he really used it to full better. He got the better of Woofenden and then charged to the front, and he'll be hoping for more now.
Yeah, and he loves riding this place as well. Home track in Poland. Niels Christian Iversen off the inside in red. Andreas Jonsson goes off gate 2 in blue. Peter Killerman goes off gate 3 in white. And off the outside is Chris Holder in the yellow helmet colour. Holder, who has been here quite a while now as a Torun rider in the Polish Extra League, and is a huge favourite, of course, and very much so with the Pool Pirates in the UK as well.
Yeah, he was, and there's another little sideline here as well. Andreas Jonsson's got John Jorgensen in his pit corner, hoping that will help him out for this evening. Didn't in the opening ride, but maybe this time.
Here we go then, heat number 6 it is, and it's a good start from Niels Christian Iversen on the inside gate, round the outside. Here comes Jonsson, down the back straight, they're all bunching up. Oh, 3 abreast going into turn 3.
Crikey.
What a move from Peter Killerman, and now coming through superbly in blue is Andreas Jonsson. Killerman holds second. Third place in red here is Niels Christian Iversen. Chris Holder's at the back, and there's a real race on up top now, because Jonsson is going to be pressured hard by Peter Killerman.
Peter Kilderman charging up the inside there. Niels Christian Iversen all over the place in third. Chris Holder's out the back. He'll be disappointed with that, but there's no question that it benefited Andreas Jonsson, that hard move from Kilderman as they went into turn 3 on the opening lap. Jonsson now beginning to stamp his authority on the race. Holder can't get the better of Iversen in third, but Peter Kilderman in second place. But Jonsson, he's got it all wrapped up.
Yeah, Jonsson riding beautifully here now. That's going to put him onto 4 points from 2 rides. And down to the line for second spot, just about.
Close.
Peter Killerman getting the better there of a last gasp effort from Niels Christian Iversen. Good ride, and well, the boys are starting to really have a go here now on this pacey torrent track. I am told the referee just wants to see the finish again, just to be absolutely certain of the finishing order there. Down to the line we go. Chris Holder at the back. Andreas Jonsson.
Good speedway race, Nige.
It's all about Iversen and Killerman now.
It is indeed, as they charge towards the line. Yeah, Kilderman just hangs on there, and he secures the second place with Iversen in third. But that move from Kilderman down the back straight with 3 abreast when he roared up the inside. Fortunately, they're 18 metres deep, these corners here in Torrent, so there was enough room for all of them to get round that corner, but crikey, it was very tight indeed.
Jonsson, Killerman, Iversen and Holder is the finishing order. We've got a massive heat number 7 coming up. Here's the latest. Jonsson and Killerman on 4 points apiece. Andreas Jonsson at his best there.
Yes.
No doubt he does have a tradition of coming on strong towards the end of a Grand Prix series, and he's looking good there in blue. But this is heat number 7. Here's the top 2 in the world going side by side. This is Doyle, by the way, in red, but alongside each other in blue and white is Hancock and Woofenden. We're seeing Doyle at the moment, but the inside gate is Doyle. The middle 2 gates are Woofenden on 144, that man in white, and Greg Hancock is in blue, is on 121. Now, when they met last week in Stockholm, it was an emphatic answer from Woofenden in heat 11.
Heat 11 was the crunch time, wasn't it? And then there's no question that Woofenden came up with a storming ride after just getting 2 points from his opening 2 rides, and he really did then begin to turn it on in style. Hancock, of course, he is fast right now. He's made a few tweaks. I know his engine tuner flew here and delivered an engine specifically for tonight's event, so he'll be looking to build on that. But this is a good lineup.
Jason Doyle off the inside, an emphatic winner first time out. Greg Hancock goes off gate 2 in blue, Ty Woofenden gate 3 in white, and Chris Harris is going off the outside gate in yellow. This is heat number 7, and quite a lineup, Kelvin.
Yeah, super lineup, and certainly it's the anticipation is in the crowd. You can sense it. Doyle, of course, a home rider, run his opening ride in fine style. Hancock was super from the inside and won nicely once he got a couple of laps under his belt. Woofenden got past. Holder passed him, and that was a little bit of a surprise for me. Harris was third. Steady in third, and he'll be looking for better, but the clash of the top 2 guns in gates 2 and 3, keep your eyes there.
Yeah, should be a good race this one then. Heat number 7, here we go. Referee with his finger on the button, Christer Gardell of Sweden. Hancock's made a textbook start once again. Magnificent. Whoa. But he's taken out wide by Jason Doyle. Now Hancock, has he got the speed down the back straight? No room, and Woofenden comes through. What a move from Ty Woofenden. The lead is with Doyle. Hancock's coming hard around the outside again here. And what a start that was from Jason Doyle. Now here comes Greg Hancock. Doyle goes up the inside. Great move again from Jason Doyle. We're seeing some great speedway now in this one. Woofenden now challenging Hancock.
Brilliant speedway between Hancock and Doyle. Doyle really pumped up, didn't take that lying down at all. He replied immediately. Woofenden now around the outside. Brilliant move from Ty Woofenden.
And now Jason Doyle has the advantage, and Woofenden has passed Greg Hancock into third. Woofenden second, Hancock third. Good speedway here, and Woofenden looks to have a lot of speed here, but he may be a lap too short to challenge Doyle. Doyle is going to take the win. 2 rides and 2 wins for Jason Doyle of Australia. Fantastic ride from him, And what a race that was. Hancock got stuck in. Woffenden spotted the advantage, went wide, swept around Hancock. That was the race of the night, heat number 7.
Yeah, comfortably the race of the night, Nigel. You're right. Woffenden got back into the thick of the action by getting the better of Hancock late on in the race. But Doyle, unbeaten so far, terrific.
Doyle, Woffenden, Hancock, the finishing order. And that means that Doyle leads the GP on 6, Hancock on 4. Woffenden creeps into the top 8 on 3 points. And Woffenden now leads the World Championship by 24 points. And his target all the time is coming down.
It is, and initially here he didn't make a good start from gate 3. He was beaten to the first corner by Doyle and Hancock. He gets up the inside going down the back straight, but Hancock then replies brilliantly. Again from the tapes, Hancock, you see that customary great start, the bike digs in, but look how confident Jason Doyle was there. He literally steamed up the inside and showed plenty of speed out in front. Woffenden had speed, he got the better of the American. Great tussle initially between Doyle and Hancock, and got to give Doyle a lot of credit. Enjoys riding here for Torren in the league and showed a lot of home track knowledge there. But Woffenden comes on strong, sweeps around the outside of the world champion, and that was important. Really does. Just takes the pressure off a little bit. His main competitor, he takes a point off him. But Jason Doyle, 6 points to his name. Looking like a big night for him, Nige.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Woffenden is now only 12 points away from winning the world title.
Right.
Might be a little bit premature to say that, and they are my rough mathematics working from my mind. But I reckon he's 12 points away from winning the world title. That's my calculations, so don't take that as read.
Well, you were quite good at maths at school, weren't you?
Not really.
Well, I don't know. Don't talk yourself down. I think you're doing all right.
Yeah.
But certainly, every time he takes a point off Hancock, it doesn't do him any harm at all, does it? So
and the points that Hancock drops as well.
Exactly. So
yeah.
it's
12 points, I reckon.
Yeah, 12 points. And if that's the case, then you know he's looking good. Hasn't won a race so far, but I'm sure he will.
Jepsen Jensen off the inside here. Piotr Pawlicki goes off gate 2 in blue. Nicky Pedersen gate 3 in white, and Troy Batchelor going off the outside in yellow. This is heat number 8. After this race, every rider will have completed 2 rides.
Yes, absolutely. And Jepsen Jensen was delighted to have won his opening ride from gate 4. He goes from gate 1 this time. Pawlicki also is somebody to keep your eyes on.
Into the first turn we go, and that's a good start from Michael Jepsen Jensen, who won his opening ride, but down the back straight, this is where it gets interesting. Oh! Nicky Pedersen charging through in white. That was a spectacular move from the 3-times world champion. Pawlicki's in on the act as well. Batchelor at the back, but that was a magnificent ride from Nicky Pedersen down that back straight.
Well, Jepsen Jensen got out of shape. He comes charging back up the inside of the wild card. Pawlicki replaced the compliment back into second place. Very, very brave move from Pedersen down the back straight to get himself to the front, and he's put away. Jepsen Jensen and Pawlicki are putting on a fine show for second and third. The two fellas really going at it. A lap to go. Very little to choose between those two boys.
Yep, down the back straight, Nicky Pedersen, and now Batchelor has gone up the inside here of Pawlicki, who made a mistake there. Down the back straight, but Nicky Pedersen, what a ride that was, getting his reward for a fantastic move early on. The way they bunch up down that back straight,
wow,
it really is amazing.
It's twice this evening we've seen it, 3 abreast going into the third corner.
You didn't have to worry about that when you were on your own yesterday out there.
But I appreciated it, Nigel, there's no question about that. But there's no doubt that 3 abreast there with 18-metre deep corners is very useful. Thanks for reminding me of that. I was quite pleased with my performance yesterday.
Pedersen, Jepsen Jensen, Batchelor and Pawlicki, 2 rides apiece. Doyle leads the Grand Prix with Pedersen and Jepsen Jensen on 5 apiece.
Yeah, good stuff from Pedersen there. He'll be pleased with that. He hasn't had all the speed. He's been complaining about his speed in recent weeks, but he rides very strongly here. Gets that slingshot. There's a lot of banking here, and he's able to generate lots of speed, and well, just enough room for 3 going into the bottom corner with Jepsen Jensen trying to protect it. Pawlicki and Jepsen Jensen then go on for a race-long battle with the young Pole finally actually making a mistake, and that relegates him to the back, which is a terrible shame, because at this early stage he's right in the thick of the action. But Pedersen, of course, showing great resolve here, desperately wants to be in the top 3 in the world. Important for him, and he rides strongly and picks up a very useful 3 points. Yeah, Jepsen Jensen once again getting in all sorts of trouble, but it's the young Polish boy that late on in the race just overdoes it slightly, kills his momentum, and he goes out of the points. Pedersen, 3 points here. That's what he was looking for.
Yep, very much so. Good ride from Pedersen down that back straight. It was pretty special. This is a real battle between Jepsen Jensen
absolutely
and
it was
Pawlicki. It's good to watch.
Yeah, elbow to elbow, handlebar to handlebar. It was terrific action, but Pedersen, 3-time former world champion, riding like a champion that time. Good start.
Well, Nick is riding well. He is 5 points from 2 rides, and his fellow Dane Peter Killerman is now with our man Chris Louis.
Peter, 4 points from your first 2 rides. A good start.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's tricky out there. Even you feel quick, you're going to get chased down. So, yeah, we struggle a bit with the setup right now, but we should be all right.
The first lap here at Torun just seems so hectic when you're going down the back straight into turn 3. You really don't know where to ride.
Nah, not really. It's like all the lines is fast, so it's hard to place you, but yeah.
And when the opposition is as good as it is in the Grand Prix, that makes it even more difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great stuff, well done.
Cheers, thank you.
Yeah, smashing ride from Peter Killerman, really getting stuck in, full of entertainment, of course. Peter Killerman, a great addition to the Grand Prix, although I have to say his replacement, as we see Woofy here, but I have to say as well, Peter Killerman is in the Grand Prix as a replacement for Jarek Hampel, and I think it's absolutely great to see Jarek Hampel here tonight. He's actually working for our colleagues on Polish television tonight as well in the commentary box, and probably doing a far better job than Kelvin and myself.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. He's a top professional, isn't he, Nigel? So he knows what he's talking about. But you're absolutely right. It's refreshing to see him. Very nasty accident he had at the World Cup qualifying round early this year in June. So I'm sure, I have read that he appears to be making good progress with that. So fingers crossed that we'll see plenty of him next season. Holder now just preparing himself for his upcoming heat. An up and down start for Chris so far. Tremendously impressive first ride, and then a disappointing 4th place in his second heat. So it's a little bit like his season, isn't it? He wins a race, last in a race. He actually, when we were talking with him earlier today, Nigel, he said that he'd lacked consistency this year. So somehow this evening he needs to put that right.
Michael Jepsen Jensen is riding nicely, and he is with Chris.
Michael chasing points out there, but 5 points from your first 2 rides is a good start.
Yeah, it is. Track is like really good, you know. So I just gotta go for it. I had before the meeting, I had 10 points up to top 8. So I'm fighting my ass off to do something, and I believe I can do it.
A great opening ride, and you seem to have so much speed out there as well on track.
Yeah, it was all right. I got a quite good start. I was lifting a bit, but pulling away. Second one here, I was a bit flat from the start, and I missed a little bit because I had 7 heats between, so the track changed quite a lot. But we'll do something for the next one, and hopefully I can be back on 3 points.
And you look like you've got a very aggressive bike set up out there. The front wheels coming up in the middle of the corners on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, but I didn't actually feel it was that bad, you know. I just had one lap where Nicky was like locking the bike in front of me and Piotr was on the inside, so I had to lock the bike a bit extra, and then when I straightened up, the bike like took off a bit, but it's all right. It's going forward instead of like this, like it have been doing for so many meetings for me this season, so hopefully I can continue with that.
Good luck with the rest of the night, thanks.
Thank you, mate.
Good rider, Michael Jepsen Jensen on his night. He's a Grand Prix winner, a World Cup winner. Has had a couple of seasons where he's been not quite at his best, and at times this year he's looked really good, and then subsequently he's sort of drifted away a little bit, and particularly in the last couple of rounds he's been not quite at his best. So as he said there, he's fighting for his life.
Andreas Jonsson is now with Chris Louis.
Andreas, a patient first lap in heat 6 paid dividends.
Yeah, you know, I just saw what's going to happen there, and just made a cutback, and you know, I was just happy that I saw what was going on. So yeah, just made the best of it and came away with 3 points. I'm happy.
When you're going down the back straight on lap 1 and you know the guys on the inside are carrying so much speed, what's going through your mind exactly?
Yeah, it is difficult. You know, you always think about a second plan, and that was my second you know, my second choice, you know, to make it a cutback, because I knew I ain't going to come around there, and Neil's got a pretty long way, so you know, that was just to have a second plan.
Good luck for the rest of the night. Thanks, AJ.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a good ride from AJ, and the sort of ride he desperately needed. He had a quiet opening ride with just 1 point, but as I say, he's well outside the top 8, Nige, isn't he? And he needs a spectacular performance to, if he needs a pick, he needs a really strong performance to try and convince the organisers to put him back in.
Yeah, it's a good point you make there, because at this time of year, of course, all the speculation gathers pace as to who the 4 picks are going to be.
Exactly, yeah.
A man not too far away from us now, Jarek Hampel. He's got to be in contention, you would think. Who else do you pick? That's the tricky one. If they do need another Swede, who do you go for?
Exactly. Well, you know, and Antonio Lindback has been talked about. Freddie Lindgren just missed out in the challenge. Lindback has had a strong season. AJ is in the Grand Prix, hasn't had a great season in truth. Ridden well in Britain, very well in Britain, but Grand Prix campaign has been below par. And that's why I say, if he can win a Grand Prix or do something a bit special, then maybe they will consider him, because with 2 Grand Prix a year in Sweden, they need a Swede in the series.
Yep, very much so. And Andreas Jonsson is on a bit of form, and you know, the argument would be, is Jonassen or is Lindback a better bet than Andreas Jonsson?
Well, the only argument would be the fact that they've had their chance, and maybe they need to give Lindback another go. Unfortunately for Sweden, they're not blessed with lots of youngsters coming through at the moment, so it will be one of those 3, I would suggest: Lindgren, Lindback or Jonsson. I think so.
Yep, and of course Sweden won the World Cup, and yet here we are, struggling to come up with an answer as to who you would pick for the Grand Prix.
You would never have predicted that,
no.
You know. Jonsson's a multiple Grand Prix winner, former world #2, so, you know, he can do it.
He's won 9 Grand Prix.
Exactly.
In his career from 25 finals, so yeah, he's got the pedigree for sure. Anyway, we're up to heat number 9. The riders are out, ready for action. Heat number 9 is on the way. Here we go with heat number 9. Chris Holder going off the inside in red. 3 years ago at this venue, he was crowned world champion. Troy Batchelor goes off gate number 2 in blue. Matt Zajanowski, a fine ride last time out, off gate 3 in white. And the maximum man, Jason Doyle, he goes off the outside in yellow.
Yeah, Doyle started like a house on fire tonight, and he really has been very impressive. Janowski won last time, but I sense he would have been a little frustrated, probably wanted a touch more speed. Holder, up and down night so far. Needs to get amongst the points once again now. In 8th place prior to this evening's meeting. Needs to keep pushing on. Batchelor's hasn't enjoyed his Grand Prix campaign this year. It just hasn't been his season. But Janowski is a class act. He'll be looking to build. Going from the outside again is an opportunity there. But Holder on the inside needs a good start here.
Yep, here we go then with heat number 9. What can Holder do from gate number 1 in red on his home track here? Krista Gardell with his finger on the button. Here we go. Good start from Holder off gate number 1. Now going wide is Janowski. High up onto the banking there. Holder knows what to do, but Doyle. Here comes Doyle in yellow. Magnificent ride from Jason Doyle, and they are going some. This is a super quick race, but Chris Holder has held his line, and Janowski has come through now. This is fantastic Speedway as Doyle tries the inside run on Janowski. Good opening lap, good early stages of the race.
Wow, how tight was that down the back straight? Jason Doyle had his nose wiped there. Doyle coming on strong again in 2nd place. Superstar from Holder resisted the charge of Doyle early in the race. Speed in front. Janowski and Doyle. Janowski once again the pole. Back up the inside. Doyle's going to pass him back surely. Coming out of turn 4. Yes, he does. Batchelor's out the back. Fabulous action for 2nd place. But Holder, after last place last time, he's out in front looking strong.
Janowski's done. Holder done Jason Doyle now. Now Doyle's got the outside run down to the line. Jason Doyle will never work harder for a 2nd spot. That was simply superb. How many times did they pass each other there? And Chris Holder missed all the fun because he won the race comfortably.
He won out in front. Brilliant ride from Holder. Responded supremely well to the disappointment of failing to score last time. But action-packed behind him. Riders swapping places. Doyle and Janowski passing each other on each corner, each straight, on each lap. Really was entertainment personified. But what a ride from Holder. He needed that. Came good when he really needed it. Super ride from him.
Doyle on 8 points, Holder on 6. And that's good from Chris Holder after a last place in his second ride. He's right in contention for the semi-finals now. Superb Speedway.
Tapes up and the boys charge to the first corner. Holder gets there. It's not easy from the inside. You have to turn that little bit harder, and riders like Doyle here get that bit of momentum down the back straight. Again from the tapes into the first corner. There we see Janowski's there, but Doyle, look at that swoop down the banking, generating speed, desperately trying to get up the inside of Holder, the 2012 world champion. I thought he was going to do it. Doesn't quite manage to do it. Then Janowski gets in on the act, and then the fun starts with these two boys going at it lap after lap, passing each other for fun, really entertaining us all royally here in this very important race. Holder's cleared off, no doubt about that. He's got the win in his back pocket, but a terrific battle, race-long battle between Janowski and Jason Doyle. Really was entertaining.
Yeah, I love watching Speedway races like that, even though the winner was clear. Chris Holder was gone, but I love watching riders giving it like that, you know, having a real go, passing each other every lap.
And absolutely, and on this track, Nige, you can do it. You've got that racing room. You're never really feeling comfortable unless you can clear off out in front like Holder did. Great way to bounce back. Entertainment going on behind him. As you say, he missed all the action, missed all the fireworks, but I don't think he'll be too worried about that. No. Another 3 points is very handy.
Heat number 10 is coming up, and here we see the standings in the World Championship. Woffenden 146, Hancock 122, Pedersen 110. Pedersen, until a couple of rounds ago, was in contention. It was only Hancock's stunning run of form that has leapfrogged him over Nicky Pedersen. Here's the lineup for Heat 10 now. Nicky Pedersen goes off the inside in red. Gate number 2 in blue is Thomas H. Jonasson. Greg Hancock, gate 3 in white. And Peter Killerman going off the outside in yellow. We're seeing some fine racing, and that banking, Kelvin, I know you enjoyed using that yesterday when you were out there riding.
You can, and you can go into the middle of the track and then turn quite late in the first corner, and you literally swoop down the banking, makes that back straight even longer, and you generate so much speed. It's a fabulous feeling.
Heat number 10 here. Who's going to make the start? Hancock has made a fine start, but so has Nicky Pedersen in red. Hancock is going high into the dirt. Now down the back straight. They're all bunching up. Hancock has had to get off the gas there. Nicky Pedersen holds the lead here. The man in yellow is Peter Killerman, the spectacular Peter Killerman. And now Hancock's been relegated to the back. The lead is with Nicky Pedersen. Second place is Peter Killerman here. Hancock fighting here with the man in blue for third, Thomas H. Jonasson.
Nicky Pedersen away. This is doing Ty Woffenden a massive favour. Hancock now desperately trying to get back in amongst the points. Peter Kilderman with another outrageous move. Hancock coming through into third. Kilderman really stirring it up on the opening lap. Pedersen's gained the advantage. Kilderman in second place, and Hancock having to work overtime just to get to third place.
Yeah, Nicky Pedersen winding it on here, riding quite beautifully. He's up for this tonight, all right. Been worried about his speed in recent weeks, but he's looking superb here now. No mistake from Nicky Pedersen. Second place, Peter Killerman, who's got his third straight second place on the trot there. And Greg Hancock in third place. 2 more drop points for him means Woffenden's target is reduced, and Ty Woffenden is now 11 points away from being world champion. And here we go with heat number 10 result. Nicky Pedersen the winner, Peter Killerman was second, Greg Hancock third, and Thomas H. Jonasson at the back. But a fine ride from Nicky Pedersen, the triple world champion, moves on to 8 points out of a possible 9. Nice work from Nicky.
Yeah, super stuff from Nicky, and there's no question that he will have thoroughly enjoyed that. I do know that one of his engine tuners is based here in Torrance, so maybe they've been doing some work. Didn't practice yesterday, I believe, and maybe they were away testing somewhere, and whatever they've come up with, it appears to be working very well, because here from the inside makes a great start, resists. Look at Peter Kilderman there coming through the traffic. He's so brave, and Hancock literally gets caught in traffic down the back straight on the opening lap. Again away from the tapes, Pedersen on the inside. Here we see Kilderman yellow helmet colour gets right amongst it as they go down the back straight, almost 4 abreast, and unfortunately for the world champion Hancock, just can't get there and has to work very hard to get just into 3rd place. Here you see him right on the inside and block passes effectively Thomas H. Jonasson. There you see Jonasson just has to come off the throttle and get out of the way. Meanwhile, out in front, Nicky Pedersen is delighted. He's got plenty of speed and wins in fine style.
Yeah, Nicky did use his home track in Poland, Leszno, to do some testing. He is, of course, a Leszno rider and won the league title with Leszno. Congratulations to him and all of the Leszno club for their title success here in Poland. And he did use the Leszno track to do some testing in the build-up to the GP. Nicky Pedersen, as we move on to heat number 11 here now. And we see Piotr Pawlicki going off the inside gate, and he is a qualifier for next year's GP Series, courtesy of his success in the Grand Prix Challenge, where the top 3 went through. In fact, a couple of the riders who were successful with Pawlicki and Harris have booked their place next year. They're in this race.
Yes.
Pawlicki off the inside gate, Christoph Kasperzak gate 2 in blue, Chris Harris gate 3 in white, and Niels Christian Iversen going off the outside in yellow.
Yeah, absolutely. And Niels Christian Iversen, it's an important ride for him. He wants to keep pushing on. He hasn't had quite the season he has enjoyed previously, but injury problems last year and a sort of an up and down season for him. He said that it has been harder work this time. Harris hasn't had a great start. Pawlicki, though, he's got speed. He just needs to be a little bit calmer out there.
Yep, heat number 11 it is then, and that is a fine start from Christoph Kasperzak from gate 2, but Pawlicki is there on the inside run now. Good ride, but now they're all bunching up again. Whoa. Not for the first time tonight. The lead, though, is with Piotr Pawlicki, coming hard in yellow. Charging around the outside is Niels Christian Iversen. Kasperzak has gone well and truly to the back, and Iversen is giving it everything here. Challenging Piotr Pawlicki. Has he got the speed? Runs up the inside. Super Speedway, and Pawlicki's going to switch up the inside for more.
Brilliant Speedway once again. So much racing room. You can switch to the inside, the outside. Iversen round the outside. What a move from him. Fires himself back to the front. Fabulous Speedway. Pawlicki in 2nd place. Harris hanging on in 3rd. Kasperzak's pulled up on the centre green, but Iversen was looking for a big ride here. He is delivering in style.
Yeah, he is doing it in style. I think he's meant that. Brilliant.
I'll say.
Absolutely brilliant. Niels Christian Iversen in yellow. 2nd place, Piotr Pawlicki. And 3rd place, Chris Harris. But that was a sensational ride from Niels Christian Iversen. Kasperzak pulled up, by the way. Didn't finish the race, went back to the pits. But that was some ride from Niels Christian Iversen.
Well, Iversen, he's a strong character, and he had to be there because the youngster Pawlicki was really making him work awfully hard. But by crikey, he generated a lot of speed, and that was a terrific win for the Danish rider.
Iversen, Pawlicki, Harris is the finishing order there. As we say, Kasperzak retired. So Iversen moves on to 6 now, in a great position to challenge for the top 8 after 5 rides apiece. That's what you get, 5 rides if you are new to individual Grand Prix Speedway. 5 rides apiece to decide who goes through to the semi-finals in the top 8. Another good race here.
Yeah, super race, and the tapes are up, and Pawlicki on the inside is holding court here early on. But look at this, once again down the back straight. So tight there, and Niels Christian Iversen charging through the traffic, and it gets very tight. We've seen it on 2, 3 occasions now as they go down that back straight. Here you see it again, 3 riders abreast. Fortunately, enough racing room. Kasperzak gets shoved out the way, and unfortunately for him, his race is run then. Pawlicki out in front, cannot resist the charge from Iversen. He swoops around the outside. He tries to block him, but can't do it, can't get there. And once Iversen hits the front, he wins comfortably in the end, but he had to work hard to get there, because that youngster, who's going to be a fully fledged Grand Prix rider next year, will be fast, and he certainly was there. 6 points to his name, looking good for the semis.
Yeah, fantastic ride from Niels Christian Iversen, and looking forward to seeing Piotr Pawlicki in the Grand Prix Series next year as well. He's going to be a great addition.
And Bartosz Marzlik as well.
Oh, just a bit, yeah.
2 young Polish riders coming into the series, which will really entertain us.
Yep, very much so, as we build up to heat number 12. Ty Woffenden, 146, 23 points up on Greg Hancock, 11 points away from being crowned world champion. Can he do it tonight, or will he have to wait for Melbourne in 3 weeks?
Well, he'd dearly love to do it tonight. The sooner you can be world champion, the better. And things are going his way with Hancock dropping some points.
Here we go with the lineup. Matti Zagar off the inside in red, Michael Jepsen-Jensen gate 2 in blue, Andreas Jonsson gate 3 in white, and Ty Woffinen going off the outside in yellow. Heat number 12. After this race, every rider will have completed 3 rides.
Got a tough draw tonight, Woofenden, and he hasn't made starts. He's showed good speed last time, but certainly he started similarly really to last week and then suddenly turned it on midway through the meeting and found the key to it all, but you can never rule him out. Jepsen-Jensen riding well, and Jonsson as well.
Here we go then, heat number 12 it is, and Jonsson's made a good start from gate number 3. Woffenden is well and truly at the back. He's just looking at his options now, and Woffenden has gone from last to first. Ty Woffenden well and truly left behind, but has got the advantage now and has the lead, and that, I have to say, is an unbelievable ride from Ty Woffenden.
What a first corner it was. He was nowhere going from 4, switched to the inside, that long back straight coming off the banking. He was out of power up the inside of the other 3 riders. Jonsson's giving chase in 3rd place. Jepsen-Jensen's out the back. That's disappointment for him with Zagar in 3rd, but Ty Woffenden looking like he is going to be world champion very shortly, because that was a fabulous opening lap.
This would leave him 8 points away from being world champion, and every point that Greg Hancock drops will bring the target down, as well as his own points. Ty Woffenden now, a brilliant win, his first of the night, and when you see the replay, you will see how far back he was in the early stages, and the way he looked across in that first turn to assess which way to go coming out of the banking was spot on.
Absolutely, and we saw it on several occasions last weekend where he made those split-second decisions in corners where he chopped to the inside. He really is a master of it, and he pulled it off perfectly here. Brilliant ride from Woofenden.
So 3 rides apiece now completed, and this is what it means. Nicky Pedersen and Jason Doyle lead the GP, and the series leader Ty Woffenden is on 6 points.
Yeah, that was more like it from Woofenden. He had a steady start, but he turned it on in style here. And in a few moments' time, we will see. Look, 3 riders on the inside were clear of him, but he then just watches the opposition where they're all going. The gap opens up, and he is able to fly down that back straight and get up the inside. Can see what it means to the team. That's more like it. Back to winning races. He's not great away from the tapes at the moment, but Jonsson there, white helmet colour, he hits the first corner. But certainly look at the speed he had there. Once again, we've seen this fabulous speed that Woofenden generates on several occasions, coming past people like they're almost selecting reverse. It really is astonishing at times. But Peter John's in there alongside him, the engine tuner, doing a fine job. Woofenden getting ever closer to his 2nd world title.
Yeah. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant from Woofenden. You have to take your hat off to him, because that was a very, very clever ride, and used his knowledge and experience. He's a very intelligent rider, Woofenden. That's part of his makeup now as well.
Agreed. You know, he's calculating. He doesn't rush into too many situations. The championship's there for the taking, or for him to lose effectively. Hasn't panicked tonight, had a steady start, turns it on in style there. It's almost an action replay of last weekend, when all of a sudden midway through the meeting he really did respond, and that ride there just emphasised once again the reason he's leading the championship comfortably.
So let's now hear from Chris Holder down in the pits with our man Chris Louis.
Chris, 2 race wins and a race win in Heat 9, taking the pressure off a little bit. Look like you're enjoying yourself out there, plenty of speed out front.
Yeah, everything's going, bike's going really good, and you know, I know this track pretty well, but even the race where I came in last, I felt like I had some speed. I just were all on top of each other, and it was hard to get a run, but bike's going good, and you know, got to make the most of the next couple.
This meeting is so competitive. The first lap in particular is very competitive down in turn 3.
Yeah, just because you come out of that first corner in front doesn't mean you're going to be in front coming out of turn 4. It's so hard to know where to go. You come off the corner on the inside, you've got no speed. If you come out wide, you're at the back, but you're going to have a ton of speed. So it's one of the best tracks in the world, and that's why there's such good racing.
The track's so wide, it kind of invites you into the corners. You can make straight lines and apexes wherever you want. I think that's the key.
Yeah, it is. It's so wide, banked, and you know, nice material, and it's smooth. And yeah, you know, give us a good racetrack, and we can put on a good show.
Great stuff, thanks.
No worries.
Yeah, super stuff from Chris Holder there, and He, you know, there is a lot of racing room. It's the sort of place when you're in front, you can never really feel comfortable unless you get a bit of a comfort zone, because there is so much room and you can gain a lot of speed and suddenly be caught. And we've seen that on more than one occasion. Fabulous setting. Look at that. That really is a tremendous stadium when you look down on it. Enthusiastic crowd. Good night of Speedway so far.
Yeah, very much so. We've seen some smashing Speedway. And Ty Woffenden looking nicely relaxed. He's out in the next race against Nicky Pedersen, Niels Christian Iversen and Mats Janowski.
Yeah, tough heat. One of the heats of the night, in truth. And Nicky Pedersen and Iversen winners last time out, so Woffenden with work to do. Probably one of the most competitive races in the 20 heats that we will see this evening. Hancock will be frustrated with that last ride. He got battled out, didn't he, down that back straight, and he just ran out of room. He then had to work very hard, and I guess he will be hurting inside there. He needed to keep winning races.
Really is great to be here and enjoy the action on this track. And you know, you said it this morning at the function that we were at, Kelvin, when you said, I'd be very happy to come here and watch my league racing.
If I lived around the corner, I'd be here every week because it's a wonderful stadium, terrific facilities. And as Chris Holder just said, they're a home rider. It is one of the best tracks in the world. And you see some stunning performances here. So, yeah, it's got it all, in truth. And we're blessed with a wonderful weather. I can't remember coming here in October and it be so warm. So, yeah, it's a real treat for us this year.
Let's hear from Greg Hancock now with Chris Louis.
Greg Hancock, a tough first lap in Heat 10.
Yeah, that's right. They got quiet coming out of the first corner there, and didn't have a lot of room to make up any ground or try to make a good line. But in the end, I got 1 point out of it, so I should be pretty happy with it.
It's so tight going down the back straight. So many times tonight we've seen 4 riders entering turn 3 together. At what point do you make a decision to keep going or back out?
Well, when it gets that tight, you can't really keep the gas on any longer. You got to shut it off and try to come up with a plan B real fast. But you got to wait till the door opens up before you do that.
Any changes to the bike going forward?
Yeah, you know, we're making small adjustments all the time, trying to make everything a little bit better so I don't have to be in that position.
Good luck for the rest of the night. Thanks, Greg.
Thanks.
Yeah, great interview, always super professional, Greg Hancock, but I sense that he feels that the job is probably a little bit beyond him now. Unless something very unexpected happens to Ty Woffenden, you've got to believe that he is in the driving seat. And I think now that Woffenden's won a race, and unfortunately for Greg, he's dropped 4 points tonight. That is making Ty's job just that touch easier. I think for me, if he's going to win the World Championship tonight, if Woffenden comes out and wins the next race off the inside against Pedersen, Iversen and Janowski, I think that will be psychologically a massive blow to the opposition.
Well, I'd like to say it's a tall order, but with Woffenden, you just never know.
You don't. You know, we can see the points there. He, as I say, he keeps pulling away again, and it's going his way. He's human. He will feel it. He will feel it. He's remarkably calm, but there's no doubt at some point when he gets really, really close, then he's going to need everybody just to keep him calm. But so far, he's showed no signs of panic. He's got a great team around him. I think Pete Adams is in the pits with him. And Peter Adams has been around the Speedway forever. And he has seen it and done it all, hasn't he, Nige? And I think he's like a father figure in the pits with him, and he just keeps him on an even keel. And there's no question that that's played its part.
Well, if this was the last round, he'd be champion by now. But yeah, there's no point saying that, really, because it's not.
No, it's the penultimate round. So that's the case. It may go to Melbourne. It may well go to Melbourne. But at the moment, it looks like it could well happen here this evening.
So heat number 13 is coming up, and the fans enjoying this. It's been a good night of Speedway so far, and we're only effectively halfway through here. And we have got a truly terrific lineup.
Yeah.
For heat number 13, a galaxy of stars.
A galaxy of stars indeed, Nigel, and this is a race that you know, you're going to be on the edge of your seat for, because with the sort of action we've witnessed so far, they've been terrific. The quality of the lineup is extraordinary, and all these 3 riders have been winning races this evening. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've got to say, on the evidence of the opening 3 heats for Pedersen, Nigel, that testing he did in Legno looks like it might be paying off, because he's been fast tonight.
Yeah, he has. He's looked much more like the Nicky Pedersen we know.
Yeah.
Maciejowski with a little bit of late drama there, but heat number 13 is coming up. And what a lineup it is, and what a race it promises to be as well. Here we go, heat 13. Heat 13, and what a lineup this is. Ty Woffenden going off the inside in red. Nicky Pedersen looking good tonight. Gate 2 in blue. Niels Christian Iversen has worked hard for his points. He goes off gate 3 in white. And Maciejowski, a little bit of late drama with a change of bike. Whilst the 2 minutes was on, he goes off the outside in the yellow helmet colour. Heat number 13. Quite a lineup in prospect here.
Yeah, really tasty lineup, and the three riders on the inside gates have all won races very recently. Iversen was a hard-charging ride last time. Pedersen's got pace. He really is looking strong this evening, really is riding on in top form. Woffenden was outstanding. That move off the banking in the first corner last time, out of the top draw. Janowski, a little up and down, but the change of equipment, well, he'll be keeping his fingers crossed that it works out for him. This is a strong heat. Looking forward to it.
Yep, quite a lineup it is here. Heat number 13 coming up. Krista Gardell with the green light on, and away they go from the start. Pedersen's made the best gate. Now Nicky Pedersen has the lead. Woffenden tries the inside run, charging hard is Janowski around the outside. Here comes Magic Janowski. He had a late change of bike, but what a change it is. And now Pedersen battling, and Iversen comes through into third, and Ty Woffenden has been relegated to the back. And oh my goodness me! How did Janowski manage that? Here comes Woffenden now. Woffenden around the outside. Ty Woffenden can't quite get there. What a race!
Janowski comes from nowhere. Woffenden on the outside. Pedersen second. Iversen in third. Janowski showed fantastic commitment. Woffenden just giving it a big blast round the outside. Pedersen slams the door shut, but Janowski out in front. Special ride from the Polish boy.
Yeah, Maciejowski magnificent, and Woffenden has come through into third. Now he's going to try a run on Nicky Pedersen for second. It's Maciejowski with the win. Nicky Pedersen second. Ty Woffenden had to work his socks off a third there. And Niels Christian Iversen on that occasion.
Wow.
Well, what a race that was.
Fabulous
running
race.
it last.
Fabulous race. We built it up before the heat started. You couldn't see it. It was Nicky Pedersen was absolutely flying. Woffenden, the line he was running, he went twice as far as everybody else. Went right around the air fence 4 times. But by crikey, Janowski out in front. That was a special ride from him.
Yep, so it's 10 points for Nicky Pedersen now. Superb stuff. And Janowski and Woffenden are on 7 points apiece. And that was some Speedway race in heat number 13.
Thoroughly enjoyable, and it'll be terrific to see it again. Janowski coming from the outside gate, changes his equipment at the 11th hour, and it proves to be the right one, because he's there on the outside. This is where he shows terrific commitment. Pedersen's never easy to pass. Into the bottom corner. Tapes up again to the first turn. Pedersen makes a super start. Woffenden's trapped on the inside, front wheel right over the curb, but there you've had to turn so hard you haven't got the speed. Gets relegated to the back fairly early on. Now Janowski, this is where he shows great commitment. Fantastic corner coming out of turn 2 second time around. Proper Speedway from Janowski shown there. Woffenden working overtime around the outside. This is what it's all about. This is Grand Prix Speedway at its best. Quality riders on a quality track, strutting their stuff. Brilliant.
Yep, great stuff. Heat number 13, brilliant Speedway once again. Yeah. Janowski, what a ride. He'll never have to work harder for a win, that's for sure. He's on 7 points now.
The bravery to come between riders and the ride, the quality of the riders really showed great commitment from him. All credit to him. That was a proper Speedway ride from him.
Yeah, the boys are putting on a great show tonight in this Torun FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland. And we're up to heat number 14 now. And another terrific lineup. Peter Killerman goes off the inside in red. Has got 3 second places to a name. How he's really love a win here. Mati Zegar goes off gate 2 in blue. Piotr Pawlicki in as a late call-up for the injured Pavel Szapelski goes off gate 3 in white. And Jason Doyle, hugely impressive tonight, off the outside in yellow.
Doyle's having a great night. Peter Kilderman, well, don't take your eyes off him, because when he goes down the back straight, anything could happen. He goes in that bottom corner and he just literally throws the bike in there and hangs on. He really is an exciting rider to watch. Zegar's had a disappointing night. Just 3 points for Zegar, and he looks like a rider that should be doing a little better than that. And Pavlitsky hasn't done, well, 4 points. It's a reasonable return for coming in, literally, just about an hour before the event started. He was informed he'd be racing this evening.
Yep, heat number 14. Here we go. Another big lineup, and it's a great start from Zagar in blue. Where did he find that from? Absolutely fantastic. Killerman tries the inside run. Here comes Doyle with a chop up the inside.
Yeah.
And now Doyle's going wide into the dirt. The lead is with Zagar. Doyle second. Killerman, whoa! And now Doyle says, get out of the way. You're not doing that to me. Comes through into second, and Killerman's going to have a go again here. Brilliant Speedway.
Well, Jason Doyle means business tonight. Kilderman got the better of him, but Doyle then responded, got himself back to second place. Doyle coming on strong. Zagar's going to have eyes in the back of his head here, because Zagar, yeah, moves out. Doyle's fast. Doyle's really enjoying this home track here in Torrent. Rides here, of course, for the club, looking strong. Zagar disappointing before this ride. Comes up with a strong performance. Jet propelled away from gate 2, looking like he could win it.
Yeah, what a race this is again. Matti Zagar needed this win as well.
Yep.
After a shaky start to the meeting, down to the line they go. Zagar! The Slovenian takes the win. Jason Doyle in second there, and third in red, Peter Killerman. It's a tough old battle out there. Every race is a real battle, isn't it?
Brilliant stuff again. Riders full of confidence, perfect racing conditions, plenty of room. You're seeing guys really giving it their all. And you've got to say that Matti Zagar showed great character there, disappointing in his first 3 rides. That's a super win.
Yep, brilliant ride for Matti Zagar there. And Jason Doyle now on to 10 points and into the semi-final. Peter Killerman on 7, joins Woofenden and Janowski on that 7-point mark. And a good race again, but Zagar, what a start from gate number 2. Absolutely brilliant, but even then, he really had to be on his toes.
Oh, did he ever? Because there was all sorts of drama going on. Initially out of gate 2, the bike powers to the first corner. The Slovenian just nails the throttle in the first corner, and he powers down the back straight. Doyle coming into second place early doors as they go down the back straight on the opening lap. Again, Zagar out of gate 2, gets to the first corner, stamps his authority on the race right from the word go. Kilderman again really is throwing himself about. Again, coming off turn 4, trying to come across Jason Doyle, and then clashing as they start the second lap. Both those 2 boys really don't take any prisoners out there whatsoever. Super stuff from Doyle and Kilderman, really entertaining the public here this evening. But gotta say, Zagar showing good character, 6 points to his name with a right to go, a chance of the semis.
Doubled his score with that win, much needed. Brilliant stuff from him. As we move on to heat number 15 here now. And Andreas Jonsson off gate number 3 on 6 points. But the other 3 boys here out of contention at the moment, really. So a real opportunity for Jonsson to stamp his authority off gate 3 here.
Yes, absolutely, Nigel, and he needs to do that. You know, he's got his back against the wall. He is trying everything he knows to turn his performance around. Needs to keep winning races.
Does indeed. Here's the lineup. Troy Batchelor going off the inside in red. Gate 2 in blue is Chris Harris. Gate 3 white, Andreas Jonsson and Thomas H. Jonasson going off the outside in yellow. Heat number 15 is coming up. Can Jonsson all but book his place in a semi-final at this end-of-season rally for him, as he looks to really just remind the organisers what he's all about.
Exactly. You've hit the nail on the head, and this is an opportunity. The other 3 riders here aren't really on top form, so on the programme he will be looking at this thinking this is an opportunity to get in the semi-finals and do the business. Gate number 3, Jonsson, can he do it?
Heat number 15 it is then. Here we go, and Jonsson has made an absolute beauty. That was perfect, although the red lights are on. Bit too good. Bit too good, yeah.
Chris de Gardel, the referee, puts the red light on. Maybe harshly treated there.
I think so. I don't think he...
Maybe harshly treated. Didn't see too much wrong with it. We'll wait for the replay, but in real time it looked like Jonsson had made a great start. Here we see it again. White helmet colour, green lights on. That's a brilliant start. No need to pull it back. No need. The Swedish referee pulling back the race with the Swedish rider doing the business away from the tapes. We'll see it now. Makes a great start. That's frustrating.
Well, he didn't drop the clutch before the tapes went up.
They can't believe it. They can't believe it.
He wasn't rolling. He didn't drop the clutch before the tapes went up.
Shame.
and he's been pulled back there for...
He's going to have to do it again.
Unsatisfactory start, yeah.
Difficult to understand why AJ's, you know, his form dips at times. Such a fast rider, such a quality rider. 9 Grand Prix wins to his name. Former world #2. But in recent seasons, in truth, has really struggled to maintain his Grand Prix status. It was only a fabulous win last year in Voyens that really turned his fortunes around and secured his Grand Prix place this year. So he's even further down the rankings this time around. And
20 points adrift at the top 8.
There you go. So effectively, for him to remind the organisers, he will need a permanent pick and he will need a Grand Prix win or something like that, at the very least, to remind them that maybe they should give him another go.
So heat number 15 coming up here now in this Marian Rose Motor Arena in Torun, Poland. This is the penultimate round of the World Speedway Championship for 2015. And the British rider Ty Woofenden needs 7 points to be crowned world champion. Troy Batchelor going off the inside, Chris Harris off gate 2, Andreas Johnson gate 3, Thomas H. Jonasson, gate 4 in yellow. We'll try again with heat 15.
We will, and let's hope that Krista Gardell doesn't penalise riders unnecessarily this time. Jonsson had made a terrific start. Difficult to know what's happened to Troy Batchelor this year. Just doesn't seem to have got going at all. Disappointment for the Australian. Maybe he can finish in style with a great performance in Melbourne in 3 weeks' time. Harris hasn't had the pace tonight. Thomas H. Jonassen's had a hard Grand Prix campaign. This is, without doubt, an opportunity for Jonsson.
Second time of asking. Here we go. And he's away again, this time off gate number 3. Hits that first turn. Now the man in blue is having to go. Chris Harris down the back straight, but Jonsson goes wide and uses that banking to great effect. It's Andreas Jonsson with the lead. Charging through. The man in red is Troy Batchelor, and now coming through. It's the man in yellow, Thomas H. Jonasson, and a few woes and ways from Kelvin Tatum.
Mate, that was tight there. I tell you, there wasn't a lot of racing room. They were slamming the door left, right and centre. It was unbelievable, but Andreas Jonsson, second time of asking, had the composure, was able to make the start, and 2 Swedish boys are first and second. Got to say that Harris got beaten up. He's relegated to 3rd, but Andreas Jonsson needed a race win here, and he's delivering. He's giving himself a chance. Well, he will be in the semi-finals after this, and he needs to just keep pushing on.
Yep, riding nicely here, Andreas Jonsson into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Not one of the most spectacular 4 laps, but it was spectacular early on.
Yes.
Andreas Jonsson with the race win. And that puts him on to 9 points, and that continues his vast improvement in form. Andreas Jonsson, 10 points in Stockholm last week, of course, much more like it, and now he's got 9 here tonight.
Much more like it from the Swedish man, and he'll be relieved about that, because often an easy race on paper, or an easier race on paper, you can slip up. Second time of asking, no mistakes.
Yep, with Jonasson second and Harris third, Batchelor at the back. Disappointing night for Troy Batchelor. Jonsson on to 9 now. Well and truly in the semi-finals. Job done for him with a race to spare. Heat 15.
Terrific. And I know that Ashley Holloway, his engine tuner, has been working very hard. John Jorgensen's in the camp. They were testing recently, desperately trying to find something that was going to work for him. He had a steady start in his opening ride, but subsequently he's been pretty strong with 2 wins and a 2nd place. And he's well ensconced in the top 8. Easily through to the semi-finals, and with 1 race to go, he'll be looking to pick up another win. And once again, once Jonsson's had his back to the wall, look at this, Batchelor coming through there. That was awfully tight, and there's no question with Thomas H. Jonasson coming through at the same moment. It was awful. It was breathe-in time, wasn't it? Harris on the outside here. Batchelor block passes effectively, running in tight and allowing the bike to sweep up the banking, and Thomas H. Jonasson coming in on the pitch as well. Look at Harris. Harris's left leg was nearly pulled off there. Nearly came out of his hip socket, but AJ didn't see any of that. He won't worry about that. A useful win from gate 3.
9 points from 4 rides. Andreas Jonsson showing his true class here. Won the World Cup in June. It was a very early World Cup this year in early June, which Sweden won in Voyens. And heat number 16. It really was an extraordinary win for Sweden.
They were all there, weren't
shock
they?
win.
They were all there, and it was a shock win. There were some extraordinary moves that evening when you saw people like Freddie Lingman really getting amongst it, Antonio Lindback doing strutting his stuff as well. So, yeah, they were outsiders, but they came away with the gold medal.
Heat number 16 coming up. Here we go with Christoph Kasperzak off the inside in red, struggling again tonight. Chris Holder goes off gate number 2 in blue. Gate 3 in white is Michael Jensen and Greg Hancock, the legend, the all-time record appearance maker in Grand Prix history. Everyone apart from one he's ridden in. Remarkable man. He goes off the outside in yellow here.
Yeah, he is a remarkable man. His record is outstanding and shows no sign of relinquishing that. He's fully committed to re-racing next year. Here we go.
Yep, and it's a good start from Hancock from gate number 4 now. Can he get the drive going into that turn? Holder's down low, and Hancock is trying the outside run and has got there beautifully. Great ride from Greg Hancock. Now it's Chris Holder in second place. Kasperzak having a battle with Jensen here, who comes through into third now. But Greg Hancock rode a super move there around the outside, and surely Chris Holder won't catch him here.
No, great move there from the world champion. He was able to get that speed off the first corner and got the better of Holder, who's hanging on for second. Jensen's having a battle with Kasperzak, who's failed to score so far, and this is really disappointing for the Danish boy, who started strongly tonight, but he's not fast enough in this one, is he? But Hancock, you've got to say, after the frustrations of his previous race, where he got boxed out of it on the opening lap, no mistake at all this time, Nigel, looking like a winner.
Yeah, this is going to put Hancock onto 8 points and all but seal his place in the semi-finals. He's won it quite comfortably here. Hancock the winner, Chris Holder in second place, and Christoph Kasperzak in third. And as you say, Kelvin, Michael Jensen has faded away after a fantastic start to the meeting. He's on 5 from 4 now and runs a serious risk of missing out. Holder on to 8 now as well. That's a good result for him. And Greg Hancock on to 8 points with 2 race wins under his belt as well. Every rider has now completed 4 rides. Heat 16 the result. Hancock, Holder, Kasperzak and Jensen. That's your result of Heat 16. And now, after 16 races, every rider's completed 4 heats. Pedersen and Doyle on 10, Jensen on 9, Holder and Hancock on 8 apiece.
Well, it's very competitive out there, and Hancock, who responds again. You can never count him out, can you? He had 2 disappointing rides with 3rd places and then pulls off a terrific win. And this is why Holder, who had won last time out, leaves him racing room, and Hancock's able to generate that extra speed down the back straight. Once again, away from the tapes, we're looking at Kasperzak. They get into the first corner. Holder makes a good start initially. Jensen will be bitterly disappointed with this, because he did start the meeting very well, and now he's slipped outside the top 8. He's had 2 zeros after 5 points from 2. He has failed to score in the next 2 outings. That really isn't what he needed. Kasperzak now coming through into 3rd place, but Greg Hancock, the world champion, a super move on the opening lap sees him through to another win. He's on 8 points, the same actually as Holder. They both had 2 race wins and a 2nd place, so they're on 8 points, looking like they're set for the semi-finals. And the team behind him, they're pleased with that. The brand there doing the business, but the world champion, I don't know if he's going to be for much longer, Nigel, but he's certainly battling and fighting very hard.
Yeah, great stuff from Greg Hancock, brilliant ride from him. And let's hear from Ty Woffenden now, who's speaking to Chris Louis.
Ty, 7 points. I know it's difficult to hear down here at the moment. 7 points, looks like you needed a couple more points.
Didn't hear anything you just said.
Okay, I think we're going to have some quiet now. That's much better. 7 points. It looks like you're going to need 2 more points from Heat 18.
Yeah, I just need to keep plugging away. I didn't really hear again what you said, but you know, just focusing on the job I've got to do. Struggling a bit with setup at the moment. It's not quite where I want it to be. Just need to get some more speed off the corners.
It looks very difficult to me. I mean, everybody's scratching their heads, the setup-wise, because you want to get grip off the start, but the more grip you get off the start, the less speed you're possibly going to have on the track, and there's nowhere to hide, even if you're out front.
That's exactly what it's like, you know. It's a good racetrack, and you know, I've been watching Doyley's races and Holders, and they're just coming off the corner pretty nice. So yeah, we're just playing with some setups, just trying to find the right one.
The draw hasn't been particularly kind either. 2 gate 3s, you've got gate 3 in the next one. It's pretty tough from there.
I love a challenge.
Go to it.
Thanks.
Yeah, quite clearly not spot on with the setup, and you know, he talks about that a lot. Still very competitive, but he's a little in and out. He hasn't made good starts tonight, Ty. The bike seems to be spinning up when he goes away from the tapes. Generates speed and no lack of commitment, But he needs a big ride, doesn't he, in his 5th programmed ride to see him through to the semi-finals, and also to keep pushing on. But Hancock is going to make him work all the way. He's not going to gift it to him, is he, the world champion? Hancock will try and hang on to be world champion as long as he possibly can. But yeah, Ty makes very small moves with his team, don't they? They make small adjustments, and then when he just clicks on it, he is unstoppable.
He is, and to say he's struggling with his setup, that one race when he did, well, he looked brilliant then. Peter Killerman is now with Chris Louis.
Peter, 7 points. The pressure's still on for a couple of points in Heat 18.
Yeah, absolutely. I need them points, and I'll do all if I can have them in the next one. Yeah, I've struggled a bit out there and changed a few things and see if it's better now.
What a tough race last time out with Jason Doyle. 2 tough guys of the world of Speedway, but you must have enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to race with the hard guys against you, so yeah, enjoyed it.
Good luck for the rest of the night. Thanks, Peter.
Cheers, thank you.
He's been pushing on hard. He hasn't won races, but he's been entertaining. Just hasn't quite had the speed this evening to get himself to the front, but there's been no lack of commitment from Peter. You wouldn't expect that. Every time he comes to a Grand Prix, he's ready. And he has an outstanding record in his Grand Prix career so far. And he, of course, he's desperately trying to get into the top 8.
And now we can hear from one of the best riders of the night, Jason Doyle. He's with Chris Louis.
Jason, a great night so far, but a couple of those races, Heat 9 in particular, have you ever raced so hard for 2 points?
No, but making myself difficult. Some moves I'm doing on the outside, so hopefully I can stop doing that and get a clean run. We've got enough speed. It's amazing when you got some speed behind you, so hopefully I can score some more points.
And it was the same again last time out against Peter Kilderman. 2 tough races and bashing handlebars, but it looks like it's good fun.
Oh, it's deja vu with Peter. I think I'm like a magnet to him to come in. I'm glad he stayed up this time.
A good night tonight will take the pressure off in Melbourne. You go into your home country round with the pressure off and look for the win and make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely. To go to Melbourne with no pressure on us at all is going to be awesome, just to ride our bikes in front of our family and friends. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to Melbourne. Just got to stay safe and bag the points.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, good job by Jason Doyle tonight. Has ridden beautifully, and
yes,
pressure going to be off him now because his top 8 place looking good for 2015, 2016 even.
Yes, and he fully deserves it. He could have made 2 finals. He could have had more points. He's made a couple of rash moves at times and possibly just lost concentration in semi-finals when he was looking like he was going to go through to a final. But all in all, I think he'll reflect on this year as an education, but also one that he has managed to maintain his Grand Prix status for next year, and he'll build on that. And I think Jason Doyle will win Grand Prix in the future. Looking at the upcoming heats, though, with Hancock's got a tough race with Jonsson and Janowski out in Heat 17. And Hancock needs to keep winning races if it's going to go to Melbourne, the World Championship. Ty Woofenden pretty much has to win Heat 18 if Hancock wins, of course, just to try and see if he can seal it this evening. But be interesting to see how this develops in the next 4 heats.
Yeah, I don't think Ty Woofenden will be too worried about winning it tonight, although, of course, he would like to. So there's no pressure on his shoulders making the long trip to Melbourne.
True.
But yeah, he'd love to win it tonight, I'm sure. Heat 17 coming up then. The track grading is almost done. And we'll be on with heat number 17, which is that race with Greg Hancock, as Calvin's just referred to. Janowski, Pawlicki, Hancock and Jonsson. And the Etihad Stadium, Melbourne. 3 weeks' time for the final round, and it's the Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah, it should be quite a feast of speedway down there. The Etihad Stadium, by all accounts, is a fabulous modern-day arena, and I'm sure that they'll put a track in there and they'll be royally entertained. They're going to be going there for 5 years, so really is part and parcel of the calendar for the future, and going the other side of the world is what it's all about. It is a world championship after all, so yeah, exciting times for the series.
Very much so. Woofenden on 150 now, Hancock 24 points behind. And what about the battle for the top 8? Well, you see Chris Holder on 90, Mats Janowski 91, but there is quite a drop down to 9th in the World Championship. 77 points from Michael Jensen. Top 8 looking good. Peter Killerman still coming on strong.
Yeah, but Peter needed to be winning races tonight, I think. Looking like it may well be just out of his grasp, unless there's somebody gets hurt or injured and can't ride. But he has done very well to even challenge for the top 8 when he's missed Grand Prix, because he came in at a later stage. Here we're coming up for heat 17 now. Pressure really building. Looking forward to this one.
Here we go with heat number 17. Quite a lineup here. Matt Janowski going off the inside in red. 7 points, needs to score something here. Piotr Pawlicki will have benefited from the experience tonight. It's his second appearance in a Grand Prix. Had only scored a point before tonight. Greg Hancock, gate number 3. And off the outside is Andreas Jonsson.
Good lineup, Nigel, and as you rightly say, Pawlicki will have benefited from the experience. He has speed, and he'll be reflecting on this this evening, and that's what he's got to come up with every fortnight pretty much through next summer. So interesting to see how he settles as a fully fledged Grand Prix rider. Janowski on the inside has ridden well, really well. When he changed his bike, he came up with a stunning performance to get himself to the front. Won his second race of the night. And Hancock out of gate 3, well, it's simple for him. Just needs to keep winning races, keep putting the pressure on Woofenden.
Here we go with heat number 17 then. Great lineup.
Yep.
Let's see how this one goes. 5th race for all these riders now. Heat number 17 and Pawlicki has made the start of his life, and now charging through Andreas Jonsson, and Hancock's at the back. Jonsson has that lead superbly now. Pawlicki charging hard here. What a move from the man in the blue helmet colour. There's a real battle on here with Janowski 3rd as well. This is brilliant from Andreas Jonsson and Piotr Pawlicki.
Yeah, Jonsson now getting himself alongside Pawlicki, who was dynamite as he dive-bombed up the inside. Going into turn 3 on the opening lap. Hancock coming up the inside of Janowski. Can he get the better of Jonsson? He's pushing awfully hard. Janowski responding, getting back into 3rd. This is a super heat 17. Pawlicki, the wild card, out in front, riding a stormer after a great start. He's got a little bit of breathing space now. It's all on for 2nd, 3rd and 4th.
Great speedway race here, heat number 17. What a ride from Piotr Pawlicki with 4 points to his name before this race. Andreas Jonsson 2nd, looks up and all. Janowski just misses him. Hancock finishes at the back.
Yeah.
And now Ty Woofenden is only 4 points away from being crowned world champion. Could it happen tonight? He's out in the next one, but still needs points to book his place in the semi-final.
Well, is that the moment when Woofenden can now pounce and hang on to secure his second world title in 3 years? Pawlicki was dynamite there. That was a brilliant move down the back straight. Hancock will be desperately disappointed. Woofenden will be reflecting on it now. If he wins the next race, he possibly just needs 1 more point in the semi-finals to be world champion for the 2nd time. Really was a turnaround, didn't see that coming. Jonsson rode hard, but Pawlicki, that was a super ride from him.
Yeah, great ride from Piotr Pawlicki, and Andreas Jonsson on 11 points now. Hancock on 8 has still done enough with a couple of race wins under his belt to qualify for the semi-finals. So quite a race, that one, and as you say, Calvin, a surprise that Hancock couldn't land a blow.
Yeah, that really was. Gate 3 didn't work for him. He doesn't get a good getaway. Pawlicki, though, in gate 2, it's terrific. Jonsson there gets himself to the front, but watch this. Watch this. The youngster does come steaming up the inside. Will we see it now? Hopefully we will. He then able to get himself around the outside. Andreas Jonsson getting too much drive, and Greg Hancock, as hard as he tried, he couldn't get amongst the points. It really is a wonderful opportunity now for Woofenden to get that 2nd world title. There he is out on track. They will know, they will understand exactly what is required right now. A marvellous opportunity for him to secure his 2nd world title here this evening. Can he do it coming out of gate 3?
A win in this race for Woofenden would mean that Hancock can only tie with him if he wins his remaining races and every race in Australia, and Woofenden doesn't score a point. So realistically, he's almost there now, Ty Woofenden. He's within touching distance, but how he would dearly love to wrap it up here this evening. Heat number 18 is coming up. Well, Greg's a great guy, isn't he?
You can sympathise with that. He's given everything in the previous rounds. Got going a little bit too late this year. Was a bit hit and miss early in the season. Brilliant performances in the last 3 Grand Prix. Just not going to be quite good enough, I suggest.
Christoph Kasperzak off the inside has only got a point under his belt. Peter Killerman goes off gate number 2 in blue. Ty Woofenden, 7 points to his name, goes off gate 3 in white. And Troy Batchelor going off the outside in yellow. Yeah. Still got to say, Woofenden still needs a point or 2 here to ensure that he is in the semi-finals.
Yeah, but he's red-hot favourite. Kilderman has been riding hard, but the other 2 lads haven't been at their best. So really, on paper, he's only got 1 guy to beat, and that's Kilderman in the number 2 gate.
You never know in this sport, and the 2 out-of-form boys have got the lead. Woofenden's at the back. There you go. Now Kasperzak with the lead. 2nd place is Batchelor. 3rd place in blue here is Peter Killerman, and Woofenden is trailing at the back now and runs the risk of missing out on the semi-finals. But here he comes. Just looks around the outside of him, and this is a great speedway race again. Batchelor in yellow, magnificent, and here comes Killerman down the back straight.
No room at all. Kilderman squeezes around the outside, very nearly on the air fence now. Batchelor on the inside. Woofenden finally getting amongst the points. He was awful away from the tapes, really struggling for grip away from the tapes. Out in front, Peter Kilderman hasn't won a race so far this evening, looking like he is here now. Has Woofenden got anything more in the locker?
Well, Woofenden is having a real battle with Christoph Kasperzak here, down that back straight, but what a ride here for the man in blue, Peter Killerman. Fantastic stuff from him. Batchelor holds 2nd, and the red-hot favourite, as you described him, Cal, Ty Woofenden, has to scrap for everything for a point.
Well, I just didn't see it coming. He didn't get away from the tapes at all. He was all out of sorts in the first half of the race. Worked overtime just to get a solitary point. Drama in the last 2 races with the world's number 1 and 2 in the championship chase. Really unexpectedly dropping points. I just fancied that Woofenden would do it there, but Kilderman comes up with a storming ride.
Yeah, fine ride from Peter Killerman with Batchelor in 2nd place. Woofenden now just on 8th place right now. He can be overtaken by riders in heats 19 and 20. He runs the risk of missing out on the semi-finals here tonight. Ty Woofenden, although he does have a race win under his belt, just the 1. And it has to be said that Woofenden in the bigger picture is only 3 points away from being world champion.
Well, this was a shock for me. Makes a poor start out of gate 3, Ty Woofenden. Great start initially from Kasperzak. Kilderman there is in 3rd place with Troy Batchelor down the back straight, getting himself to the front. Tapes up again. Gate 3 doesn't work for the championship leader here. He's dead and buried as he goes into that first corner. Really is struggling for pace. Chops to the inside, trying to work it out. The bike doesn't really get hooked up at all here. Finally gets the better of Kasperzak, but had to work hard there. Didn't have the dynamic speed that we've seen from the World Championship leader in previous heats and in previous Grand Prix. Out in front, though, Kilderman, well, just what the doctor ordered from him, safely through to the semi-finals.
Yep, very much so. Chris Holder on 8 points here. And the key for Woofenden, really, is going to be when you look at heat number 20 with Iversen on 6 and Jepsen Jensen on 5. That's going to be the key. And Matti Zegar here is on 6 points, Matti Zegar, and he has a race win under his belt as well. So it looks like it could well go down to the countback. And it's Chris Harris off the inside. Nicky Pedersen goes off gate 2, Matti Zegar gate 3, and Chris Holder off the outside. This is quite some lineup.
It is. Harris has not quite had enough speed tonight, and that will be disappointing for him. Hasn't really enjoyed a lot of good Grand Prix here in Torren. Zegar, with that race win, has got an opportunity with a big ride here, but he's going to have to go for it because Pedersen's fast and Holder's been very competitive as well, so not an easy race. Pedersen's favourite for me, but that's probably the curse on him now.
Yep, Zegar needs a win. And here we go, heat number 19. Nicky Pedersen has made a beauty. Pedersen has the early lead here. Now charging through is Chris Holder in the yellow helmet colour. Zegar now is challenging hard on Harris. Chris Harris is at the back now. The lead is with Nicky Pedersen. Chris Holder holds second. Matty Zagar is third. And Chris Harris is at the back.
Yeah, Zagar past Harris down the back straight. Pedersen once again, terrific out of gate 2, but Holder coming on strong now. Gate 4 for Holder. He's got speed in second place. He's all over the back of Pedersen. Pedersen enjoying a good night, but he's going to have to really put his head down and keep charging here because Holder in second place looks pretty fast. Zagar, gate 3 in the last 3 heats has been awful. Really hasn't worked at all. Pedersen out in front. Holder second. Looks like it could stay that way.
Yeah, Pedersen has had a fantastic night, was testing, as we say, in Lejno in the build-up to this Grand Prix, has been worried about his speed in recent weeks, but he's got it right tonight. Nicky Pedersen and Chris Holder, followed home by Matty Zagar, who misses out tonight on a semi-final spot, and Chris Harris finishes on just 3 points tonight in Torren. But what a night for this man. Nicky Pedersen, truly magnificent, 13 points, and he's going to have first pick of gate positions for the semi-finals.
Wow, what a way to bounce back. He really is a tenacious character, Pedersen. He never knows when he's beaten. Been really frustrated with the speed in recent weeks, but he's looking very competitive here this evening. 13 points is a terrific return.
Yep, Pedersen now on 13, Chris Holder on 10, he's in the top 8, and now the only thing to sort out really is Niels Christian Iversen. Can he get a win in heat number 20 to book his place in the semi-finals?
Well, he'll be trying awfully hard for that, and Pedersen tries terrifically hard here. He makes a great start from gate 2, gets himself to the front. Holder then coming from the outside, gets himself into second place. Zagar up the inside of Harris, who gets relegated to the back. Once again from the tapes, Pedersen, that customary style, bike drives hard to the first corner. I've got to say, in this last 3 heats, gate 3 with Hancock, Woofenden and Zagar really has been awful. They haven't been able to get away. It's been really slick, no grip at all. Out in front though this time, Pedersen rides strongly. Holder was threatening there in second place for a couple of laps, but Pedersen on 13 points. This is a great response to a difficult period, and 3 race wins, 2 second places. Yeah, that's quality from him.
Yep, so a big ride needed. If Niels Christian Iversen wins this, then Woofenden will miss out on the semi-finals. So that's the prize that awaits Niels Christian Iversen if he can secure the victory here. Woofenden will not be crowned world champion tonight. Here we go, heat number 20. After this race, every rider will have completed their 5 outings. Woofenden waits and wonders whether he has done enough to get into the semi-finals. Jonassen off the inside, Iversen off gate 2, Doyle off gate 3 has ridden beautifully, and Jepsen Jensen going off the outside gate. A win for Iversen, he's in the semi-finals, a second place, and it goes back to count back.
Yeah, very tense times here for Woofenden. He'll be keenly looking on. Of course, he'll be not wishing any harm to Niels Christian Iversen, but he'll be hoping that he misses out.
And if Iversen finishes second, Woofenden beats Iversen in the head-to-head. So it's win or bust for Niels Christian Iversen.
Absolutely. Gate 2 has worked well in recent heats. He's in gate 2, so he has that as an advantage. Here we go, tense times in heat 20.
Big heat 20 coming up then, here we go! Oh. Bit of movement to the start, the red lights are on. The red lights are on.
And Iversen will be disappointed. He'd made the start there. Doyle just jumped momentarily, but probably penalised himself. But I can sympathise a little with the referee because he did just make a little bit of a move before the tapes went up. See it again. Keep your eyes right on white helmet colour. Clearly moves early.
Yep, right decision to call that back.
Yeah, this time, yes, I would agree with Krista Gardell. Just a little bit impatient, but I think he'll be aware that the gate 3 isn't working well, and he knows that he needs to make a really good reaction to get to the first corner.
And you do feel for Iversen because he had made the start there.
Absolutely, and he will have to now refocus and do it again. Gate 2 in the previous race with Pedersen on it, he made a great start. And Pavlitsky had it in heat 17, and he ripped out of gate 2 as well. So that, quite likely, is the better of the starts right now. But nonetheless, pressure on, particularly in the context if he wants to make the semi-finals, he needs to win the race.
I have to make a correction here as well, by the way.
Right.
Because if Greg Hancock is in the semi-finals, as he is, Woofenden needs 3 points for the world title, but that is only if Hancock wins his last 2 races and gets a maximum 6 out of 6 from his last 2. Of course, what I neglected to say was that every point that Hancock drops, Woofenden's target comes down. So even if Woofenden doesn't go through and Hancock is in the semi-finals, Hancock still needs to keep the points going to take it to Melbourne. Although realistically, Greg knows it's over.
It is over, and it just depends whether it's done this evening or very early on in Melbourne in 3 weeks' time. That's effectively the scenario we're facing. Of course, Woofenden's relaxing in the pits now, just be waiting the information relayed to him to say whether he will be in the semi-finals or not, and that will rest entirely on the performance of Niels Christian Iversen coming out of gate 2 this time.
Yep, here we go. It's Thomas H. Jonasson off the inside, Niels Christian Iversen gate 2 in blue, Jason Doyle gate 3 in white, and Michael Jepsen Jensen going off the outside in yellow.
Yeah,
that's your lineup for heat number 20 then, here in Torren. It's been a fantastic night of racing, and we've got the semi-finals and the finals still to come here in Torren. Big ride needed from Niels Christian Iversen, the man who rides for the Kings Lynn Stars in the British League. Off gate number 2, can he make the start for a second time here? Take tries, and Iversen has made a beauty from gate number 2. Magnificent start from Niels Christian Iversen. He's gone wide. Here comes Doyle up the inside. Oh!
Whoa! Brilliant stuff from Jason Doyle up the inside. Thomas H. Jonasson pushing Iversen as well. Doyle's out in front. He's had a terrific night. Iversen chopping to the inside into turns 1 and 2. Oh, tight there. Doyle now charges down the back straight. This is not enough for Iversen. He needed to be in front.
Yep, this is brilliant from Jason Doyle. He really is riding superbly tonight. The best Grand Prix of his season. He's going to finish level with Nicky Pedersen on 13 if it stays like this. The race is in his hands. Iversen is trying absolutely everything. Doyle knows this track well and is using the banking to great effect. Into the last lap we go. It's going to take something special from Niels now. Doyle moving into turns 3 and 4. It's Jason Doyle from Australia. On the banking, down to the line, gets there. Niels Christian Iversen second in blue, and third in red, Thomas H. Jonasson, and what a ride from Jason Doyle.
Fabulous ride from Jason Doyle, quite comfortably his best Grand Prix performance this season. Knows this track well, of course rides for the club, but Iversen coming on strong. He knew what he needed. He needed 3 points and he couldn't quite get there because the Australian design denied him. Brilliant stuff from Jason Doyle in front.
Doyle the winner, Iversen second, Jonasson was third, and Jepsen Jensen at the back. The final 8 for the semi-finals will be confirmed by the FIM jury, and that will be coming up very shortly when we have the pick for the semi-finals.
Here we see it was super stuff from Jason Doyle. Enjoying right from the word go this evening. He was winning races, has battled really hard, really tense stuff. Iversen, second time of asking, makes the start, but look at the move. We've seen this on many occasions this evening. Off that banking in the first corner, and Doyle up the inside, sweeps to the front. Thomas H. Jonasson pushing hard in third initially, with Iversen in second. And as hard as Iversen tries here, he really did give it his all. Could not chase down Jason Doyle. This is the move that seals the win and possibly puts paid to Niels Christian Iversen's chances of making the semi-finals this evening. Very tense count back, and I'm sure they're going to be extra careful to make sure they get it right. Doyle out in front, he's comfortably through, 13 points alongside Pedersen. Super performance from him. Woofenden having to be patient to see whether he's going to be announced as a semi-finalist this evening.
I think Iversen's through above Woofenden because Iversen had two second places. Woofenden's 3 third places look like they're going to cost him tonight.
Right, well, it's yet to be confirmed, but you may well be right, Nigel, although you did suggest that he beat Iversen earlier on. So that may well count in his favour.
Yep, but it looks very much as though Iversen's 2 second places above Woofenden's 1 second place will put him above him. So Woofenden could miss out, and I think he knows it as well.
Yeah, he'll be disappointed, but in 3 weeks' time, if that is confirmed, in 3 weeks' time, then I'm sure he will be crowned world champion for the second time. Still waiting for the official announcement. And I'm sure it won't be too far away. Iversen, of course, was pushing so hard there, and second place apparently could well be enough. Yeah. Is that a face of being resigned to the fact that he's going to have to wait for a few more weeks before the championship is his.
Unless Hancock drops points in the semis.
Right, yeah.
If Hancock finishes third in the semi-final, Woofenden is champion. So it looks as though Woofenden's missed out by the narrowest of margins.
Yeah, that really is very tight indeed, and I'm sure he's disappointed. He will want to win it on the track. You know what I mean? Of course, a championship is a championship, but I'm sure he would have rather had been out on track and clinched the championship rather than seeing somebody else drop points to actually get there.
Well, the provisional top 8 to be confirmed by the FIM jury. But that's the World Championship standings right now. Woofenden 151, Hancock 126, Pedersen 118, and Niels Christian Iversen 103. So Woofenden still needs 3 points to be world champion, unless Greg Hancock drops more points in these semi-finals. So here we go. Overall, it means that Woofenden misses out because Iversen got more second places than Ty Woofenden. And Jason Doyle and Nicky Pedersen top it. And good to see Jason and Nicky right up there.
Absolutely. There was great performances from both riders. Doyle, of course, as a home rider, he'll be delighted with that. Reminding the promotion here of a contract for next year, I'm sure, coming in quite handy. Pedersen bouncing back after some disappointing displays in recent weeks. Jonsson battling for his Grand Prix future. Holder, another home rider there on 10 points. That's a good job from him. And Kilderman, well, he's been action-packed, and that win in his last ride puts him well and truly in the top 8. It's been an entertaining night. We've seen some really good stuff. The battles down the back straight have been awe-inspiring at times, haven't they? The way they've charged in there really has been a sight to behold. And once again, confirming what a lot of people already know, that this is one of the best speedway tracks around.
Semi-finals to come then here. It's been a fantastic speedway meeting, that's for sure. Here's the first semi-final then. Jason Doyle. He's had his best Grand Prix yet, and he goes off gate number 2.
No surprise at all. He won his first heat from there and won it in fine style. Holder has ridden well tonight, needed a big performance, disappointing last week, only 4 points, gate 4 for Holder. He's done all right, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Janowski coming up, had a really good ride. Well, gate 3 hasn't worked quite so well in previous heats, but he'll probably defy the stats on that one, and Hancock will go off the inside. So, semi-final number 1, we've got Greg Hancock, the world champion, on gate 1, Doyle on gate 2, Magic Janowski coming out of gate 3 in white, and Chris Holder going from the outside in yellow. Pedersen now just waiting to be called forward. He's had a super night. Gate 2 once again is the outstanding gate. He goes in blue. Andreas Jonsson's ridden well this evening, has needed it. And gate 4 for Andreas. AJ on the outside. He's done a decent job. Peter Kilderman, exciting as always. He goes from the inside gate. Peter
Always
Kilderman,
good to watch.
He really has been credit to the series since he's come in. And Iversen, who just scraped in there by the skin of his teeth, he goes from gate 3. So, semi-final number 2, it is. Yep. Super lineup. Kilderman, Pedersen, Iversen and Jonsson.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. So, 2 semi-finals and the final to come. And if Greg Hancock doesn't qualify for the final here, then Woofenden will be world champion. That is why he's sticking around. He knows it. So, just got to stick around and wait to see what happens in the semi-finals here.
Yeah, it's been a performance from Hancock that's been a little bit unlike him. He's had race wins tonight, but he also, in his last ride...
Greg Hancock has 27 points left to race for. 27 left to race for.
Right.
Which would take him to 153. So, effectively, by my reckoning, if Hancock does not make the final, then Woofenden will be world champion.
Hancock third or fourth here, then it looks like Woofenden will be crowned world champion for the second time in 3 years. An outstanding achievement. As I say, never ideal not being able to have win it on track effectively, but either way, the way he'll take it whichever way it comes to him. They quite clearly know the position, they've worked it out. And Hancock, of course, on the inside in semi-final number 1 will need to come up with a big performance. But as I say, it's a bit unlike Hancock performance this evening. You know, he's won races, but then he's had a couple of thirds. And then in heat 17, he failed to score, which would have been very frustrating for him. But who knows? The world champion, not for too much longer, I fear, but the world champion may well come up with a first or a second here and keep it going. Riders just gently preparing themselves. They are now pushing off. Semi-final number 1 with riders emerging out onto the track.
Yeah, so first semi-final coming up then, and by my reckoning here, if Hancock finishes last, then Woofenden will be world champion. So that's the way it is, the way it's shaping up. Here we go with the first semi-final. Woofenden sticking around to see the outcome of this.
Well, you would, wouldn't you? Really?
Just
you know,
a bit.
With the World Championship on the line, yeah. I think it's a reasonable excuse to hang around in the pits. Massive tension here. Hancock, you would think, ordinarily would get amongst the points here, but as I say, he ran the last in heat 17, which was a surprise. Here we go then, semi-final number 1.
Here we go with the first semi-final then in Torun. It's Greg Hancock going off the inside gate in red, 8 points to his name. Jason Doyle goes off gate number 2 in blue, with Matt Sianowski gate 3 in white, and Chris Holder going off the outside in yellow. So, the World Championship standings, all important right now, of course. Woofenden has stuck around in the pits to see if he wins it tonight, or whether it goes to Melbourne in 3 weeks' time. That's the key.
Indeed it is, and it's a great opportunity for Doyle to make his first final. He's come awfully close on 2 occasions this year. Can he do it here? Third time of asking on his home patch here in Poland. Janowski in gate 3 has ridden strongly as well. Holder's had a decent night coming into the semi-finals on 10 points. Hancock has been up and down, only scored 8, got the last pick. That's the inside gate, but he has won from the inside gate earlier this evening, so he will know what to do in that first corner. He's a clever rider. Tension here. Will it be Woofenden's time? Hancock, if he fails to score, we're going to have a new world champion.
Yep, so here we go, semi-final number 1 here in Torun, and the tape tries, and it's a great start for the man off gate number 2, Jason Doyle, who really has a fabulous night tonight. It's had a fantastic night, and Hancock's gone to the back, and this will be a big moment because Woofenden would win it here without turning a wheel. The lead is with Doyle, second place is Holder, Janowski is third. Hancock is now challenging Janowski here, but has gone to the back, and now we are potentially halfway through, almost halfway through a race which will see a new world champion crowned. But what a race here, and Hancock is struggling. Hancock is struggling now.
Yeah, it looks like he might have a punch in, Nigel. Brilliant stuff from Janowski to get the better of Holder. Holder going into third place. Hancock's out the back. No question about that. Looking like we could have another new world champion. Holder certainly pushing on in third. Jason Doyle looking like he could make his final for the first time.
Jason Doyle on his way through to the final, but this is the moment where Ty Woofenden will be crowned World Speedway Champion. Doyle the winner. Great stuff from him. Magnificent ride from Jason Doyle, but that man now knows, with Greg Hancock's result, that Ty Woofenden of Great Britain has just won his second world title in 3 years. It's a fairy tale story. He failed to make the semi-finals, but Ty Woofenden of Great Britain is now confirmed as the 2015 World Speedway Champion.
What a fabulous performance it's been. He was nearly lost to the sport a few years back. He came back into the Grand Prix series, won in 20 2013. Just didn't do the business last year. Comes up with a terrific performance level this year. The consistency, the speed shown. Not ideal doing it, watching one of your best friends not score points, but that has resulted in him winning his second world title in 3 years. Celebration times, the emotions now beginning to be shown. Tears of joy running down his cheeks. It is a special moment for the man, and you can't deny, Nigel, this year he has been the outstanding rider.
Doyle and Janowski go through to the final. We've overshadowed a fantastic ride from Doyle, to be fair.
Yes.
We apologise to him for that, because that was the ride that has seen the new world champion crown. But Jason Doyle, a massive night in his career. He has made the first Grand Prix final of his career. Fantastic stuff from Jason Doyle, but well done to Ty Woffenden. He is the new world champion with a meeting to spare.
Yeah, brilliant performance from him. It didn't look like it was going to happen. He sort of rode his luck there, didn't he, when he hasn't had the best of nights. Bike hasn't been quite set up as he would have liked. Congratulations all round, but you know, something quite clearly went wrong with Greg Hancock's bike there. He had no pace at all. There's the congratulations for Hancock. His reign as world champion is now over, and the new world champion, his reign begins. Super season he's enjoyed, and it has been a special 3 years for him.
Ty Woffenden is the new World Speedway champion, and we get first reaction from the champion with Chris Louis.
Ty Woffenden back on top of the world, 2 times world champion. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Oh, it does, you know. So emotional. I worked so hard for that all year, you know, and when it I can't even talk. when it happens how it needs to happen, and you do work hard, it just means so much.
You won the championship in 2013. You had to regroup last year. It's got to be good to be back on top.
You know, I needed that last year. It was kind of something to level my head a little bit. You know, when you win your first one, you can let it get to you a little bit, and I didn't work as hard as I should have in the winter, and was just playing catch up all year. I had a hand injury, but you know, the last three years have proved that it's not just a one-off, and you know, I'll be stronger, fitter, faster next year.
You grew up in Australia. We go to Melbourne for the last round. You can relax, enjoy your win so far, and go out for another one.
I can't wait, you know, but you know, massive thanks to all the fans that made the trip out here. Yous are amazing. Thanks to all my team, you know, them boys work so hard, and Johnsy's been working hard with my engines, and you know, we talk a lot, and we, you know, focus on what we need to do, and the best thing is, you know, I'm not just riding one engine everywhere. I'm picking out of like 4 or 5 which one I want to ride at which track, and you know, to have that many engines in the workshop that you can just ride and go fast on, it's amazing. And you know, plenty of engine checks this year, so for all the people saying that they were big, they're not. And plenty of drug tests as well. So yeah, it's great. You know, prove the doubters wrong, and the fans that back me. You know, I love yous all.
Congratulations, Ty. You deserved it.
I'm just going to dedicate that one to you, Darcy. Stay strong, buddy, and Mika Muscan as well. You know, he had another crash riding motocross, and you know, life-changing injury. So I wish them boys all the best, and stay strong, keep working hard, and you know, you both of you have proved that whatever you put your mind to, you can succeed, and this is just another challenge. So knock it down and keep going.
Well done, Ty.
Yeah, great stuff from Ty Woffenden, the new world champion. Congratulations to him. And it has to be said, there's an estimated 1,000 British fans that have made the trip out here to Torrent.
Yeah.
To support Ty Woffenden and Chris Harris tonight. And it's been well worth it for those British fans that have made the trip out. Fantastic evening here in Torrent tonight.
Absolutely, and you could see the emotion there. He was choking up, wasn't he? And it just shows you how much it really means, and he locked all that emotion inside, and then it was released, and that's great to see. And you know, he has been outstanding at times this year, and fully deserves. He's the best rider around right now.
So Peter Killerman goes off the inside with Nicky Pedersen off gate 2, Niels Christian Iversen gate 3, and Andreas Jonsson going off the outside gate. That's your lineup for semi-final 2. Hancock now looking to just complete the silver medal in Melbourne in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, I'm sure he will, and he's been a fabulous world champion again. He's a great ambassador for the sport, and you know, he has time for everybody, and once again this year he has been brilliant. Just didn't quite get the form going early enough. You know, when you look at his performance, he just wasn't getting the level of points that he ordinarily does. But in the last 3 Grand Prix, I think he's had 2 seconds and a win. 17, 20 points, 37 in 2, and 16 last time out. He did come on strong. If he'd just been able to find the key to that sort of form, he may well have been able to put pressure on Woffenden. But Woffenden's a champion. It's done and dusted.
And Woffenden is the only British rider to win the World Championship twice, alongside the late great Peter Craven. Second semi-final, here we go. Nicky Pedersen with a wonderful start from gate number 2. The Great Dane at it tonight superbly, and Iversen having a go, but look at this man coming through. Andreas Jonsson in yellow, and that is a brilliant ride from him, but Iversen is coming back for more. Nicky Pedersen with the lead, Iversen second, Andreas Jonsson third, and the man at the back is Peter Killerman. Great Speedway again, all about second and third here now for a place in the final.
Yeah, great start from Pedersen. He's out in front, looking like he's set for the final. Iversen charging hard in second, but Andreas Jonsson coming on strong in third. Now Kilderman up the inside of Jonsson. Iversen now. Iversen coming on strong. He's on the inside of Pedersen.
Oh.
Pedersen slams the door shut. You're not coming by there, son. He really knows what he's up to. Pedersen out in front. Iversen coming on strong. He's looking for a win. Jonsson coming up the inside. Whoa! Super Speedway.
3 of them, and now Killerman at the back.
Oh.
Now Killerman is going to have one last dive high into the banking. Pedersen has got the race under control. Iversen does it up for second. Killerman with one last move, can't quite get there.
What a race.
That was brilliant.
What a race.
Absolutely brilliant.
Fabulous speedway between the 2 Danish riders. Andreas Jonsson up the inside. Later on in the race, 3 abreast into the first corner. Pedersen out of gate 2. Brilliant start from him. Sensational speedway we saw there in semi-final number 2. Top draw stuff.
Pedersen and Iversen make it through to the final after a real battle. Killerman was third, and Jonsson at the back, who made a lovely move early on.
Yeah.
But that was simply superb. Ty Woffenden now making his way onto the infield, and he's going to step up onto the podium and salute the crowd and raises the number 1. Standing ovation for Ty Woffenden ahead of the grand final tonight, which is coming up next.
Yeah, great moment for Ty. Yeah, a special moment for Ty, an instinctive moment, and he rushes out onto the centre green, up onto the top of the rostrum. Super moment for him, but what a ride it was from Pedersen. This was super start initially in semi-final number 2. charges around that first corner, and then Neil Jonsson, we've seen it on plenty of occasions. Look at the speed he generates coming off that banking. Long back straight, and the Swede momentarily is into second place. What a battle it was, though, between the two Danes. Nicky Pedersen had to ride very defensively at one point because Iversen showed so much speed. He really was coming on strong. Both Danes are through to the final, with Jonsson missing out, which he'll be disappointed about. But Pedersen's got 16 points tonight. That really is a great display. And when he's been in the doldrums recently, you didn't see this coming.
Welcome back, Nicky Pedersen.
Welcome back. Testing recently is paying big dividends. He has been really fast this evening.
Yeah, great to see. And we've got some final on our hands now, Kel.
We have. Can Jason Doyle win his first Grand Prix? It's his first final, and he has been terrific this evening, and he just kept his composure there in semi-final number 1, and he's safely through. And what a dramatic night, you know, after all the celebrations with Wuffenden and the outpouring of emotion, then it comes up with that race. What a Speedway race that was. A credit to this wonderful arena. Here
well,
we go.
This is the battle for 8th place right now. And Holder looking good on 93. Killerman 79, but he's 3 Grand Prix rounds less than everybody else. It's a fine achievement from Peter Killerman. He's going to miss out, and the top 8 looks pretty clear-cut now, Kel.
It's done for me. Kilderman will have to rely on a wildcard pick, but you'd think he has a good chance. He's won a Grand Prix and he's ridden so well.
Can't ignore him. He's averaging, what, 10 points per Grand Prix?
Absolutely, and so he has done himself no harm at all. He did have the opportunity to qualify through the challenge in Rybnik. He was invited in there as a wild card, but unfortunately it didn't work out for him. But his displays and his performance level in Grand Prix have been outstanding. So you've got to believe he has a very good chance. Woofy world champion. The Brits are delighted. Such a big contingent. It felt like I was in Britain when I was in town for lunch today. Gate 2 has been outstanding. The other 3 pretty much the same. But we saw that in the semi-finals. Gate 2 really did work very well.
Such a magnificent arena here in Torrent.
Great shot.
Yeah, very much so. Fantastic venue. British fans absolutely jubilant that the man born in Scunthorpe in Lincolnshire, Ty Wuffenden, who was raised in Australia, of course, came back to the UK when he was, what, 15, when his mum and dad brought him back over and just gave him the opportunity to see if he could make it as a Speedway rider.
Yeah, and you've got to give his dad a lot of credit, and his mum, of course, but the fact is Rob Wuffenden was a Speedway rider and clearly taught Ty to ride the bike correctly. And lost his dad, of course, when he was just 19, and that did affect him for a while. Ty did lose his way, there's no question of that, and he was almost lost to the sport. But when he was invited back to the series, he clearly took it very seriously, prepared himself and won his first world title 2 years ago. Backs it up, no flash in the pan, no one-hit wonder for Wuffenden. He's now a 2-time world champion. Doyle up, final time, no surprise. Gate 2 for Jason, had a great night.
Yeah, and great to see him in a grand final of the Grand Prix as well tonight. Here comes Nicky.
Good night, 16 points already. Not sure, just not sure. There is maybe the outside, and he can make that turn back. Not sure what to do. Inside. Ooh, kept us guessing there, didn't he, Nicky? Gate 3 for Nicky Pedersen. Janowski's ridden hard. Second consecutive final for Janowski. Was in the final in Stockholm. Gate 4 for him. It's ridden well, Janowski. And Iversen will go from the inside. So a good lineup. And a debut in the final for Jason Doyle. Peter Gilden, Niels Christian Iversen, excuse me, he goes from the inside in red. Jason Doyle in blue out of gate 2. Nicky Pedersen in white, gate 3. And Maciej Janowski from the outside in yellow, keeping the home crowd right on the edge of their seats for the final.
Yep, very much so. So we await the finalists here. What a meeting it's been. Really looking forward to a terrific final here now as well. And a special night that Ty Wuffenden will remember for the rest of his life, of course, but we've got 4 finalists who've got to do battle here, and very much looking forward to it. It promises to be something special.
I'm sure it will be, and we did overlook Jason Doyle's achievement of making his final, because, of course, with the drama going on behind it, with Hancock struggling for pace and failing to score, Woofenden then clinched his 2nd World Championship, and rightly we focused on that, but just a bit of a breather here. We can then wax lyrical a little about Jason Doyle, and it's an opportunity for him at home, out of the best gate, to win his first Grand Prix. Great support for Darcy Ward, and great outpouring and super gesture with all the riders wearing the suit in respect to Darcy. And of course the accident happened in Poland, so there is a tremendous connection to him. But yeah, a good lineup for the final this evening. I'm sure it will do this great arena and a great event justice at the end of the night.
Yeah, very much so. Very much looking forward to this grand final and this the penultimate round, the last round in Europe of what has been a fine year of Grand Prix racing. Of course, it got off to a tricky start, but it just got better and better as the year has gone on. Gorzhov was a highlight. The racing tonight has been fantastic as well.
Yes.
The series has just got better as the year has gone on this year.
Absolutely. After the World Cup, you just felt that the season really got going, you know, and you know, it's just grown in stature, and the racing's been good. The track conditions have been ideal, and the 2 Polish Grand Prix in the second half of the season have been outstanding. Riders now just doing their final preparations prior to coming out for the final. I'm sure that Jason Doyle will be feeling a touch nervous. Nicky Pedersen very keen. This could be a 3rd Grand Prix win for Nicky this year. If he hadn't had that dip in form in recent Grand Prix, then he would have been closer to a 4th world title. But all credit to him anyway. He shows such determination to keep battling. Every year, what is he, 38 years of age now? Every year he comes ready to do the business, and that is great testament to him and his preparation and his team.
Yep, great ride from all the boys tonight. Here we see Niels Christian Iversen has had to work hard for his points this evening. Just await the riders. The pit gate is still shut, but the riders will be out here very shortly, I'm sure.
Yeah, Iversen just crept in by the skin of his teeth for the semi-finals, didn't he? And now he's
on countback,
and now he finds himself in the final. That's a great effort. Had a lot of speed behind Pedersen in semi-final number 2, which was a terrific battle. Can Janowski delight the home crowd with a home win? Won a Grand Prix earlier this year. There's fuel running out the bottom of that bike. That's far from ideal. They don't know. That's not good. That means the carburetor's flooding, so fingers crossed for Iversen that there isn't a problem there.
But it's got a minute and a half if he wants to change it. That's going to be a concern, and there is concern by the looks of it.
Yeah, it's they're just playing with it now because the fuel was running out of it and the carburetor was flooding there, and that isn't ideal. Sometimes a vibration there will just stop that, and they'll be hoping that's the case. But riders now up at tapes for a terrific looking final, and let's hope it really does finish the night off in style.
Here we go with the grand final then, a memorable night for more than one reason. Niels Christian Iversen off the inside, Jason Doyle in his first ever final, gate 2, Nicky Pedersen gate 3 white, and Matt Janowski off the outside. These 4 boys deserve their moment in the final. Of course, the night will be remembered for Ty Woofenden becoming only the 2nd Englishman to win 2 world titles alongside Peter Craven. Of course, we should acknowledge the great Freddie Williams, who was Welsh, of course, so 3 British riders who have won the world title twice. It's a great lineup, a great addition for Ty Woofenden to have 2 world titles on his CV. Not many riders can achieve that, and it really is magnificent for him, and such legendary names in Peter Craven and Freddie Williams as well. As we look towards the final, and as we say, a shame in many ways that Woofy winning the world title when he wasn't even riding overshadowed Jason Doyle's brilliant win in the first semi.
Yeah, absolutely right, and he rode strongly and he deserved to make it. No mistakes in the semi-final, and he got himself through. Iversen could be a threat on the inside. Pedersen's ridden well, but gate 3 hasn't been great. Can he produce something magical from there? And Magic Janowski, he's ridden strongly. He's got himself in there. Will he delight the home crowd? A little bit of icing on the cake for the home crowd and come up with a home winner. Really good looking final. It's been an emotional night in more ways than one. the outpouring of emotion and a sign of respect for, of course, Darcy Ward. Here's the final.
Here we go. Grand final it is then, and heading into that first turn. Is Pedersen going to get there? The man in blue has the advantage early on here. That's Jason Doyle. They're all going to bunch up down the back straight. Here comes Pedersen charging hard. Doyle out wide. Doyle now tries the inside switch. Janowski is there as well. Whoa. They're all bunched up. They're absolutely giving nothing away. Nicky Pedersen has the lead, and still Doyle's not out of it. Still Doyle comes back for more.
Doyle back up the inside. Fabulous move from the Australian to get back into second place. Pedersen defies all the stats. Comes roaring out of gate 3. Gets himself to the front. Brilliant stuff from the 3-time world champion. Doyle on the outside. Janowski on the inside. But Pedersen, he's in command at the moment.
Yeah, Nicky Pedersen with 1 lap to go. Doyle tries the inside run. Whoa. Doyle with 1 last throw of the dice, and Doyle has taken him out. Pedersen comes back. How on earth did he stay on the bike? Goodness me, that's a great ride. Down to the line, Nicky Pedersen. What a grand final that was. And that is the 16th win of Nicky Pedersen's career in 62 grand finals. And hats off to Jason Doyle, went so close. But what a fitting finale to a terrific night of Speedway. And the great Dane Nicky Pedersen is back.
Back big time. That was a fitting end to a wonderful night of Speedway. Jason Doyle put his life on the line there. Pedersen also did something very similar. The way he actually got back round, he made a mistake coming out of turn 2 on the last lap, and that allowed Doyle the opportunity to get right alongside him. And Nick Pedersen then had to just wind it on and showed great determination to get back to the front and won in fine style. Doyle came awfully close. Janowski was certainly in there as well. Everson out the back. A great, you said it, Nigel, a fitting end to a great Speedway event. Pedersen wins for the 3rd time this season.
Yeah, many congratulations to Nicky Pedersen, who is the winner of the FST Grupa Brosquera Toruń FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland.
Well, this was an outstanding performance from Nicky Pedersen. There's no question that he was in the doldrums. He was almost resigned to not being winning again. And suddenly he's turned his fortunes around with a magical display. Get the feeling he scored 19. Yeah, he's got 19 points this evening. And he wins the final under massive pressure from Jason Doyle. Here we see it. He makes a super start from gate 3, but Doyle off gate 2 gets himself to the front, but can't resist the charge initially from Pedersen up the inside. Pedersen slams the door shut. Crikey, that was tight. That allows Janowski up the inside as they complete the first lap. It really is all on. This is later on. Look how close that was. Pedersen did make a mistake just prior to that, and that allowed Doyle to get up the inside, but Pedersen, you know how hard it's going to try. The new world champion on the track, having a gentle wander around the track, just appreciating the support that he's received here this evening. But that was a super final, and Nicky Pedersen has finished in style here, and he's done it terrifically well. He's shown great speed.
Yeah, great moment for Ty Woffinden here. He will be officially presented with the World Championship trophy in Melbourne in 3 weeks' time, of course, in the Etihad Stadium. But well done, Nicky Pedersen. That was a terrific race.
Wow.
And great respect there as well. Doyle and Nicky just shaking hands and having a bit of a laugh about it, but it was pretty dangerous at one stage.
It was indeed. He really rode his luck down that back straight, Pedersen, because he was out of shape. He was rubbing the fence with Doyle, squeezing him up, trying to slam the door shut, but Pedersen, you know how brave he is, and comes up with a really impressive victory. And Pedersen never seems to stop coming at it. He always surprises you just when you think he's in, you know, he's on the way, and he turns it around with such a strong performance like that.
And let's get some reaction with Chris Louis.
Winner of the FST Grupa Brosquera Toruń FIM Speedway Grand Prix of Poland, Nicky Pedersen. You have worked so hard this week for that victory. Makes it all worthwhile.
What can I say? You know, the last 6-7 weeks has been awkward for me. It's been very hard, you know. I hasn't felt I had the speed, you know, so thank you to Kowalski tonight, you know, to make the good engine, you know. He knows the way around here, and I managed, you know, to put the bike where I have to tonight. My gatings tonight was good, and I kept the speed what I needed.
Jason Doyle has been quick all night. He put you under so much pressure in the final. You must have been feeling it on the last lap.
Yeah, I just didn't want to give it away today. It's been such a hard time for a little while, you know, with everything personally as well, and also with racing. So I'm very pleased tonight. You know, I could pull it back, you know, and if anyone could, you know I could do it. I got the experience. Of course, I'm very happy. Hello, Mikkel and Mikkelina.
The hard work paid off. Congratulations, Nicky.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was a very, well, it was a terrific performance from Nicky Pedersen, and one which quite clearly he's very proud of, and rightly so, but it was awfully close. Doyle very nearly got to the front there.
So Ty Woffenden is the world champion, 151 points, with Greg Hancock at 126, Nicky Pedersen 124. Top 3 look pretty clear-cut now, and to the top 8 looking clear-cut too, ahead of Melbourne next weekend. But a special moment, no, in 3 weeks' time, I should say. But here we go with the moment for Nicky Pedersen. He's back. He has worked so hard to get back on the top step of the podium, but we'll have the presentations of third, second and first in that order after the Danish national anthem. Yep, big moment for Nicky Pedersen. Tremendous performance, and now we'll have the presentation of the trophies for the boys who have put on such a good show. But everybody's put on a good show tonight. It's been a super Speedway meeting.
It has been a terrific Speedway meeting, and it's, you know, the final lived up to it as well. It was a tremendous race between the two front boys. Janowski also played his part, and he delights the home crowd with a third place. 2 finals on the spin. He'll be a Grand Prix rider next year. He has ridden very nicely indeed. He's been a little bit up and down at times, but he's come good when he really needed to. He's an outstanding rider. Big smiles, of course, for Jason Doyle. Very close in his first Grand Prix final, very close to winning it. But Nicky Pedersen just proving just a touch too strong for him. But it was an entertaining conclusion to tonight's meeting. And the big winner of the evening, of the Grand Prix this evening, excuse me, is Nicky Pedersen. And that was a hard-fought victory, and outstanding. 19 points. That was a terrific performance.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and especially when you take into account the form that he's been in of late, where he's not been out of form. He's just been concerned about the speed of his engines or lack of it.
Yeah, and I'm probably not sure what it is, but Kowalski is the local tuner here, and has had a successful season.
Very much so. Time for all the photographs, the champagne for the top 3 here tonight, and for Doyle, great position for him to be in, going to his home country Australia in 3 weeks' time as well.
Number 1 Aussie right now, isn't he, in the World Championship? And you know, he's done himself a lot of good here, and he could have been in more finals, but he's made one and very nearly won one. So I'm sure he'll be really relishing the opportunity to ride in Melbourne in 3 weeks' time and put on another big performance down there for his public. Proud Australian man, Nicky Pedersen on top of the box. Janowski also is a rider with a huge future, and we've got young riders coming in like Schmarzlik and Pawlicki, so it's going to be a strong Polish contingent for next year's series. But any moment now, I'm sure we're going to be seeing the new world champion in Ty Woffenden. And when you reflect on some of the performances from him in recent Grand Prix, some of those last to first bursts we saw in Slovenia, which were just staggering. You know, when you look at that, you can see and understand why he is the new world champion.
It's getting a bit of a tradition, having a winner's selfie up there on the rostrum. Nicky Pedersen.
Surprised he hasn't got a selfie stick, Nige, you know. But no, it's an opportunity for the photo album. But no, it's been good, and Pedersen surprised me. You know, people were asking me before the event, you know, who do you fancy for this evening? I just didn't see Pedersen winning. No way.
No. Yeah, you've got good odds for that, I'm sure. Absolutely brilliant. Many congratulations to Nicky Pedersen. And Kelvin, overall, your thoughts on tonight's Speedway meeting overall, the 23 heats? I think it's been one of the best. Yeah, it's super. I think my outstanding Grand Prix was Gorjov, but this is a very close second place. It really livened up. Racing conditions were ideal, an enthusiastic crowd, a new world champion, and a Polish boy on the rostrum. Yeah, nigh on a perfect evening. Yeah, very much so. Enjoyed your company again tonight, Kelv, and fabulous night. And just very quickly, Ty Woffenden, with a round to spare, he can go to Australia and be officially crowned world champion in the nation where he was brought up as a child. Yeah, he'll look forward to that. I know he's going to spend a lot of time in the winter down there, and there's no question that he will be going down there and he'll have a massive smile on his face. He'll be seeing lots of family and friends, an opportunity for a real celebration down under for the new world champion. Kelvin, enjoyed your company. Great work once again. Thanks very much indeed for everybody who's joined us around the world tonight. It's been a terrific night. From Kelvin Tatum and me, Nigel Pearson, it's goodbye. Big night in Torun and the Marianne Rose Motor Arena. Could it be the night where Ty Woffenden is crowned World Speedway Champion? Well, it started well with all the riders having a real go on a perfectly prepared Speedway track. They were trading places, they were going high, they were going low. Woffenden didn't have it his own way early on. Hancock started with a win. Woffenden had to settle for a third. All about whether he could do it on the night, but a surprise emerged with Jason Doyle going the distance to get through to his first final of his Grand Prix career. He really has been a fantastic addition to the Grand Prix series in 2015, and Jason Doyle confirmed that with a fine run of results on the night. Rode hard and rode very well indeed. Chris Holder as well, this is his home track in the Polish Extra League, rides for Torun, and he enjoyed himself out there with the occasional blip, Chris Holder, but managed to get through to the semi-finals with his 10 points to his name and a third place in the semi-final. But as the meeting progressed, the pressure grew on Hancock just to keep the title race going, although realistically, he knew it was probably beyond him. Nicky Pedersen finally returned to form with a stunning run of rides. He picked up 3 wins in his 5 qualifying races, rounded the meeting off in style. He's been testing in Leszno, he's been working on the engines, and it worked a treat. And the action, again, continued to be spectacular. The riders were trying the banking to good effect. They were coming off the turns with great speed. Pedersen went out and he won his semi-final after a real battle. Stunning Speedway in the semi-finals, and with Greg Hancock finishing last, it meant that Ty Woffenden was officially crowned World Speedway Champion at the end of the first semi-final. Pedersen battling hard to get through into the final then. Jason Doyle pushed him all the way, but it was Nicky Pedersen who secured victory on the night and won the Torun Speedway Grand Prix.